The ruthless kill or be killed land of war and strife known as Asaria served as the birthplace of many Aasimar, who were sought out by greedy human kingdoms, marauding orc warbands, and Goliath tribes, who war endlessly for supremacy, and steal Aasimarians away from their simple lives for their innate powers of healing and unnatural beauty. Through this ordeal in such an unwelcoming land, many Aasimarians succumb to the danger and despair of life under the thumb of the powerful and lose their divine gifts, a boon of the gods scorned, and a mission abandoned. They fall, and become as monsters to those who yet tread the light. Welcome, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the Teahouse where tales are told. Last week, I'm sorry, I didn't have a gag. I stayed up till midnight, just trying to find something, some kind of link to be able to even connect into my sense of humor, even just a peek at it. My sloppiness brought you down. I felt like nothing but a slime ball. And I couldn't help it. I thought, no, I have to prove I have the guts. I have to do it. So next week, I swear to you, I look at you right in the eye and I swear, I will have a gag. Captain Falcon. If you like the content, leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box to tell us how well we did or how well we did not. Thanks for listening. And without further ado, it's time to open up shop. Hello, everybody.
Weird flex, but okay.
You're welcome.
Show me you're gay.
Reflex.
I'm just gonna move this.
Do you need help clearing out your desk, or do you have
Yes. There's more. It got worse. Okay.
That was a very small. That's like 1% of our collection.
It's true. Weirder flex, but okay.
I'm gonna hold you to that Captain Falcon one. We'll make it relevant someday.
He's here. He'll just be around, you know, as he is. We jump back in, and in a beautiful and smooth manner, without any delays. Last time, the Deviants defeated the mound of forested flesh, and in a heated battle, one of the creatures managed to escape the fight, calling for aid from distant allies. As they make their way through the forest canopy and over the bridges, they find themselves at a farmstead, a home in absolute disarray, looking akin to a barricaded war zone. They enter into the scene and pass along a densely packed roadway, and for the first time in a while, the sun above them becomes visible and begins to set. As the gray clouds above you begins to pass, and you can see the dense ash that has covered this now barren farmland continues to pour like just a thin desert along the ground below. You all find yourselves about an hour before sunset, potentially, as the sun begins to wane. And as we jump back in, what do you do?
So, Selin, this is not what you left it as, right?
No, this, I mean, I'm not surprised. We're just on a path I hadn't taken before, but I have no idea what happened here. This is just destroyed.
So, what does everyone think? Should we check all the farmhouses, or what's going on?
I just had a question about the combat last session. You mentioned a lot about blue blood splatter, but did they all fleck away to ash in the end? Like they all
did
were...
indeed.
Okay, just wanted to double check that they weren't like non-monster monsters, you know?
I know the exact kind.
Thank you. Yeah, should we check and see if this is different? Do you think it has something to do with Astrid or?
The ghost woman, yes?
Yeah.
We haven't seen her in a while.
We kind of took a roundabout way. I think Astrid would probably be ahead of us, right?
Yeah. Maybe. Do you think we could call for Bagara and ask him if this is normal on this floor? This might just be what this floor looks like, right?
Call for.
Or does it always reset? Yeah, maybe we should just check it out.
We don't have long before night falls anyway.
Yes. I'm also, I felt better. We pushed forward, but I don't know how much longer I can go. Beauty rest and all.
Should we dig at the earth a little bit?
Maybe in the morning.
Okay.
Vincent would just like to do a perimeter check, just look around, see if he can see like eyes in the woods staring at them. It happens quite a little bit in the dungeon.
Go ahead and roll perception. Also, Matilda, you previously wanted to dig up some soil last session, but we managed to miss that one. If you wanted to make a nature check to try and just grab a sample, that's totally fine.
We decided we're going to dig after a long rest.
Some intensive digging. Gotcha. And
Yeah.
Vincent, with a 17 perception, as you begin to move around, in your immediate view and staring out and around, there is an unearthly quiet to this place. And you do not see particularly anything off in the distance. As you take a listen within the area, kind of just moving around and trying to find anything you can. Even the howling of the creatures that were previously potentially in chase behind have gone completely silent. And as you all begin to move in, seems like there's nothing at the very least out in the distance here to challenge you.
Does it give
Seems
me
to be pretty dead, so if there's anything here, it would probably be inside the buildings.
Does it give me similar vibes to the inn where if we touch shit, stuff's gonna go funky?
I don't think there was that mechanic here at play, at the very least. I mean, she looks at the house. I don't think the dungeon did this. So I'm assuming that people touched quite a bit.
We could have gotten on a floor that's been used quite a bit. And plus, we met a traveler. We had a 1 in 1,000's chance of getting him, so... he referenced other people coming through, so... This could have been done by any adventuring team.
From around here, Jojo's gonna do a magic awareness for 60 feet.
You sense nothing, save for your friends and the magic items that you have on you. Within 60 feet of where you currently are. Let me just create a radius, just to make sure. Okay. It's a 60-foot radius, yes? Or is it a 30-foot radius for 60 feet diameter?
60-foot radius.
Jeez, that's quite far.
I know.
You do sense well, actually, you have to be able to see something, yes?
It has to be within line of sight. It doesn't,
Yes.
like, I can see invisible things if they're invisible, but if they're, like, behind a wall, she can't see it.
Perfect. Ahead of you, at this doorway, you sense a spot of magic just underneath. And you can see it kind of lifting up, evocation.
Okay.
Other than that, within the area, you do not see anything within your line of sight.
Yeah, I think this building over here might have the door trapped with some evocation magic, so be careful with that.
Parker? Why don't you
Yeah.
stay next to me?
Okay,
I don't want you wandering off by yourself.
I like doing that, so that's a wise decision.
Also, do you have any sort of mechanic that you can give us availability to your bags when you're unavailable? Some sort of password or trick to get around your traps?
Yes. It's not really a password. I just have to ask the bag nicely, and that'll take a little bit of time.
Okay. Why don't you add us all to that list? And if there's anything I can do to convince your bag otherwise, let me know.
Okay. We're gonna have to rest, and then I can do it. It's a little embarrassing, but that's okay.
Sure, dear.
He smiles. I did good. And then he begins to wander off and then, comes back.
While all this is happening, Matilda's just like scanning, and you said it looked like there was a big fight here. Does it look like it was one fight or like multiple fights? Because like you could probably notice that if there's any tracks or whatever, some are older, some are newer, or you could probably tell what might have broke something by how it broke, or you know what I mean?
Interesting. So scanning a battlefield and attempting to discern this is one of the default uses of investigation. So please feel free to roll investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have history proficiency? You do. Go ahead and roll with
I
advantage.
believe I do. Okay, hold on. Boop. Investigation. Advantage.
Would Jojo possibly be able to
Oh,
also
cool.
do? Oh, never mind.
Hey!
Matilda, as you examine the area, it seems like judging by the destruction and the use of like items as barricades against open holes within. As you look at this destroyed farmhouse, every possible entrance seems like it has been potentially blocked, save for the front door, which is at current just closed in front, but it is not like just completely barricaded. You look up and you can see that this house is a second floor. Vincent, you also notice this with your previous perception check. Several windows on the top floor that are also barricaded. There's one here that is completely barricaded, and there's one here that is completely barricaded. But from
This
the
thing
look,
over here is a well.
not quite done. Just one
Oh,
moment.
sorry.
From the look of the scene around you, it seems like this was like an onslaught of people who had attempted to barricade themselves within the house and those who were invading from outside. A large number of forces. And Jojo, you were asking about what? Yes, there is a well over to the side here that looks like it has been long dried from the destroyed kind of top hitch that is currently just 2 stubs broken off of the top of it.
This is just a thought. Not to alarm anyone, but if these adventurers did similar to what we did let one of those creatures go. Maybe they went and collected a large portion of friends and brought them back.
That's what I was thinking.
Might not be wise to stay here. Selin, you said there is an entrance to the underground here? Maybe we should just continue.
You see, she sits back and just begins to struggle. And as she continues just deep diving into her memory, she says, yes, gross, cold, more clean than I would have expected for a cellar. It's like a stone place. There's some pillars that were a little weird. That was where we went through. Very
Okay.
helpful.
No.
Under down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and you can see like mildly frustrated begins to stomp off towards the house. As
Hey,
she
Bia, it's okay. You tried your best. No need to run off from each other. I want to keep an eye on you.
Baka's like,
Julian.
Stay close and don't walk off.
you guys
Hey.
also look over to the side. Sorry, Matilda, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just to paint you guys a little bit more of the scene. Forest to the west continues on for quite a ways. The road you came from continues until you see those bridges, still traversable. And to the east, you see this what looks like a grain silo or some kind of storehouse, aside from the main farmhouse, which is right here. And now, Matilda, please go ahead.
Julian, will you do a perimeter with me? And just like around, like circle the house.
Yeah, well, actually, do you want me or do you just want Bladebeak? He's better at spotting things than I am.
Either way, I shouldn't go by myself, so.
If you guys like, I can send someone to do the perimeter trek, and we can all stay together just in case.
Whichever works. I'll just kind of tell Bladebeak to keep Matilda safe. Did Jojo, did you let us know that there was magic?
Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah, she did. She told you guys that it looks like the door might be trapped with evocation.
Killian's gonna take a crack at that.
You move over towards the doorway, and as you approach carefully, pointed out by the spot that you saw Jojo, there is what looks like a very crude rune carved into the wood underneath. Does not seem like something that would be dungeon adjacent, because for the most part, if you've seen traps in the dungeon, they're basically like a part of the world itself and very almost impossibly ornate. This one seems like it has been carved in here intentionally. So as you approach it, you can see that there is an arcane rune underneath the door. What do you do?
You may help with that since it's like arcane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember what we were working on last time, but I don't recognize this.
Could I take a crack at it and see what kind of rune that looks like to me?
Go ahead and roll Arcana.
Not bad.
20.
Dirty 20.
20? Quite good. As you approach, you lean down and you begin to look. You're just like, textbook. This isn't even necessarily a particular spell. This thing is just set to unleash a massive blast of force, which would, as far as you can discern from what is like here, from what is here, it's almost designed to not damage the area around it, but any person who enters into the area.
Okay, so we could probably just like set it off from a distance, and then it would be fine. Like it looks like a one-time use thing, right?
It seems like it, yes.
Yeah. So, maybe get Vincent to open it up from a distance, or
No, I
unless
can
you
do
do
it.
Oh, right, you have that hand. You have the mage hand.
I'll just go into my pocket and drop a dagger. Not on the rune, but just like on the ground. And then from, a reasonable amount of distance away, what is the max range on mage hand?
I think it's 30 feet.
30 feet. Yeah. So. Okay. I can get to here. I'll just have the mage hand pick up the dagger and just kind of like crudely start scratching at the rune until either it triggers the rune or it ruins it.
As you interrupt the rune on the ground, having noticed this just very faint little bit of it, you scratch out and you just hear as the rune seems to just kind of impact into the ground itself, and a little spider web of just cracks appears in the wood underneath, seemingly having not discharged the force, but just the force of this rune being disenchanted seems to produce some kind of effect, and it is now inert.
Right. I'll wander up to the door and see if it's locked.
You walk up to the door, you reach forward. As you jiggle the door handle, it is indeed locked.
I have disadvantage on this check. I'm just rolling investigation because it's the same number, but I'm doing a intelligence thieves tools. Hey, not bad at all.
Very nice. The door just immediately, you're just like, I'm tired, guys. Just don't worry about. It swings open easily.
All right. What's inside?
As you walk up towards the doorway and teleport to the inside, you see that you find a relatively well-used storehouse with, though the ground is covered in the dust that has been just blowing endlessly and ash throughout this entire area, you can see some incredibly old and seemingly still good sacks of grain or some kind of food. But you also see two small chests to the north of you.
Okay. I just kind of poke my head out and I say, some supplies maybe? 2 chests and some food?
Okay.
And I'll go further in, stepping between the 2 chests, so I can try to investigate them further.
Go ahead and roll investigation. In the meantime, as you guys are currently checking out this little area here, we'll pop back to the other party at first. Selene takes a tentative step up onto the wood here and just begins to move in towards the front door.
Dia, feel free to continue, but let us check things out first.
She looks back to you and says, I'm wearing heavy armor, as though that's an answer in any way to the thing that you had said.
Okay,
But
just make sure not to damage that face. I like it.
this
She'll turn
face
back towards Matilda, just ignoring her now.
she turns around in a fucking huff and stomps the ground as she does not get to retort, and then moves in towards the door and is like, fucking people walking in towards me. You see she grabs onto the doorway and then goes to open it before she just kicks the bottom of it and it swings open. You turn back towards Matilda.
Yeah, Dia. Vincent will take out the kind of like black it's like a black onyx pendant on that like impish creature with the chain on it, and hold it up and kind of like slip his finger along it and it'll bleed a little bit and then instantly heal as it drops onto the ground. And then the ground will like, the smoke will steam out from it and bubble, and kind of almost like a mirage fading in from like a distant plane of existence or something. A creature you guys have never seen before yet phases in. It's almost like a rotting, but like not in like bones and like flesh and stuff. It just looks withered and old, almost like giant horse-like creature. skin is very taut to its body. It's pale, looks like it's made out of powder. But it's got like blue spectral flames mostly around it.
And
he'll look
as
through
you
it.
summon
it's
this creature
beautiful.
from this just pit of darkness, it appears the skin tight to its body. It looks towards you.
Yeah, as he's going to go do that, I don't know if Carson always keeps a bead on Vincent, do you think? Or is he only come out when he's summoned?
A little bit of both. Why? What do you want to happen?
Well, I was just going to say, because Carson's the only one that can see this, so if he's not here, I'll narrate it anyways. But as he's casting this spell and focusing on bringing this thing out, Vincent's hair grows a little bit longer and shifts slightly to a different color and then shifts back.
That's cool.
But only he can see that. And then as this thing comes out, you'll look towards it, do a perimeter check, and be stealthy about it. Sends it off.
Just turns on its way and immediately, like taking the command of its master, just begins to move.
It can fly. I'd prefer it to not be on the ground.
Okay. It goes 5 feet up, just to remain off. But continues to run. You just see it lift off, and then shadows kind of begin to take it into the sky.
Cool. And I look back towards him.
It's going to go higher.
I think it can look. Do you want to go somewhere else? Or?
I was wondering if there was any one-way pathways that looked like it was a door that someone went into and didn't come back out of, because that might be where the cellar is. And so a lot of times are the basement, cellar. I don't know. It sounded like a cellar with what Selene said. Maybe it's out there, or just outside.
Okay. Well, I'll have my sentinel. He'll look around and he'll report back if he sees any of those things.
Okay.
We can either choose, and he'll point towards where Selen to stick with her, or I'm not sure what Jojo and the others are doing down there. Looks like they're in the grain mill. I don't expect it to take too long to search that building, though.
And as the camera caveats right back, we find once again Killian and Jojo within the grain mill. You rolled investigation to check these things for traps. You do not see any traps upon them. They seem relatively untrapped.
Right. Open the one nearest to the door.
As Jojo enters into the room and you slowly go to open this chest, roll a wisdom saving throw.
Curses, everything.
She's
Curses.
tired. Very tired.
No.
Excellent. Very tired. You open up the chest, and within it you find a lantern, so to speak. As it sits, you glance down towards it, and as you pop it open, you can see that there's a small scroll attached to it, just tied with a thin red ribbon. And as it kind of just sits there in a square lantern enclosed with wrought iron metal, you see the faintest little flicker of an almost pale green blue flame.
Is this like similar to the black flame?
No. The black flame almost seems to absorb light. It seems and almost sentient in a way from the way it licks at the sky around it. This one seems like it's just kind of almost like a pilot light for something else.
That's weird.
Is that all that's in the chest?
Just the lantern with a small scroll attached to it.
Should we read what the scroll says? Maybe it has like how to use it.
Yeah, sure. I'll reach out and pick it up.
What languages do both of you know?
Orcish, Giant, Common.
Common, Goblin, Gnomish.
None of you can read this. It reminds you actually of a language that Paka had mentioned briefly before, just a bunch of S's. Vertical and sideways.
Which we know. Do we know to be Thieves' Cant, or do we figure
We
that
do.
out?
You
Yeah,
did
yeah,
figure
you
that
were
out. This
told
is
it
Thieves'
was
Cant.
Okay. Maybe we should get Regis to teach one of us Thieves' Cant. He offered, right? I think I remember him offering.
Mhm.
Okay. What if there's anything else here? She'll use another magic awareness.
There is a sigil that you can determine to be kind of this It's hidden behind this chest over here, but your passive perception was enough to pick up the top of it in the first place. And you can see the energy kind of lifting off of it. This one is enchantment. There was nothing on the chest that Killian just opened.
There's a symbol behind the chest, if you want to scratch that out too.
Yeah, sure. And she'll take a step back, kind of go back outside of the
Yeah, that's probably
the
smart.
area just briefly, as the hand with the knife just kind of slowly floats over and starts scraping at the new sigil.
As it cuts away this one, you just hear this kind of like sound like a whooshing wind leave the room. And when you return, the sigil is deactivated. As you pop open the chest, it is completely empty.
I root my hand around in it, just in case there's
Roll
anything
investigation.
invisible inside.
Could I help with the investigation?
Absolutely.
All right, just a flat roll then.
Oh, maybe I
Oh,
should have
it's so
done it because
close.
I'm not exhausted.
Yeah, probably
As,
be doing most of this stuff.
to be, that is how it went. As the two of you root your
Yeah,
hand down
okay.
in the chest, there's nothing invisible that you can find. Nothing that you see that's particularly different about this. You guys do ascertain, looking around, that you can probably gain maybe 2 days worth of rations for each of you by hauling these very heavy bags over here
Okay.
from the food that is maintainable.
Cedars would probably be able to carry those, no problem, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And as you guys feel like you're pretty confident you've thoroughly checked out this area, we circle back.
Jojo, you hear
Yeah.
a message come in. Do you guys need help? We're gonna go search the house now.
We got some food in here and like a weird lantern thing. You didn't happen to learn Thieves Can't since last time we tried to read it, huh?
No, it usually takes a little bit longer than a couple months to learn
Maybe
language too.
ask Selene if she knows it, but we're coming in. We got some more food over here, but yeah, we'll be right back.
Okay. Vincent will look towards Matilda. There'll be a bit. They're coming over.
Okay. Let's go. Follow Selene then, so she doesn't die.
I heard that from the inside of the room. As
Well,
you
I can't kill your husband or your ex-husband if you die because I don't know where they are. So
I mean, fine. To be fair, I was going to say yes, you can absolutely still kill my husband, but you make sense, so I'll leave you alive for now. Do you need healing, by the way?
I think well, Vincent looks down. I'm fine, dear, but you know, I wouldn't mind a touch from you now and then.
That's really, is that yes? It's a bit of both. I'm gonna half heal you. Matilda, come here. She reaches.
Is what a half heal is.
She reaches forward and she just places a hand on your cheek and runs it down for a brief moment before she carries, like, you basically get this little just jolt of energy as it just begins to flicker through her fingertips, and then she places a hand on Matilda and casts Cure Wounds at first level.
thanks.
You regain 8 hit points. No problem. As you guys enter into this room, you see you're basically in a mud room that has been destroyed. Everything here has been just removed of all of its structural integrity. Destroyed from the top down, seemingly by heavy bludgeoning weapons. And you take note that the door itself has a barricade on the inside, but this one was unlocked, and this one is open completely, just blown off its hinges almost.
Vincent's gonna try to perceive maybe there's a trap or something.
Go ahead and roll perception.
Oh, there should be a disadvantage. That makes sense.
Oh, never mind. Not
It's a 10, so.
Glancing around, there doesn't seem to be too much here that's useful. And aside from, like, the floor itself is covered in a dense layer of ash from just blowing in constantly. Even now you can hear it buffeting against the wall, but nothing of particular interest in the room. As you glance through, you get an idea of just the destruction of the interior of the farmhouse. The wooden boards just all but pulled up, and you can see the solid dirt underneath. There's just a destroyed table, destroyed massive pile that has been placed in front of a hole in the wall that seems to be blown in by a massive force.
Hmm.
So it seems like they were trying to keep things out versus keeping something in, I'm assuming.
Makes sense.
And then all the stuff inside was like moved to like barricade, my understanding. So like anything that wasn't nailed down, even stuff that might have been nailed down, was like shoved over to like.
Funny enough, as you mentioned that, looking around in this immediate area, as you're just like, is anything nailed down at all? You're just like, everything that has been nailed down has been moved. You take note that there is not a single nail in any of these wooden pieces. In fact, there's no facets of metal whatsoever in this room at all. Checking out the door, even it has been used with wooden dowels to hold it in place.
Is anyone there? He won't shout. He'll just talk at a normal volume. He goes into the next room.
Roll perception. You call out in a normal volume in order to see whether or not anyone, but the creaks of your feet against the desiccated floorboards just drowns out anything else in the area. This uncanny silence. With a 15, you don't hear anything.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but there's very little sound here to begin with. At all.
That's usually a bad omen when you're in the woods. It means a predator's around. But, is there any reason Matilda might know as to why there's no metal here? Like, that just seems really weird. Is there anything that she would know?
Roll Arcana.
This just seems really hinky.
Selen and Paka, do you want to come over here?
Paka is narratively next to you at all times.
Oh, okay.
As you begin to think about what this could possibly be for, all that really crosses your minds is just like, maybe like super long, really heated battle and they needed like iron or whatever this was for components, or you're like, I'm just grasping at straws. Can't quite figure it out. Selene and Paka approach Vincent. Also, just as a general statement, Jojo and Killian, if there was something you wanted to do off in the fields, we can switch back to you now as the rest of the party siphons into the house and begins to hear low creak.
Just wanting, is there something you wanted to meet up? I mean, do before meeting up with them? Because I was just going to meet up with them.
We can just head back.
Okay, yeah. We're just going to go in the house.
Alrighty. And in the meantime, as you are moving around and listening carefully, Vincent, you do hear your allies approaching from the exterior. And you can hear in the distance just the wing beats of the demonic horse that has been encircling the area.
You said there were floorboards that had been taken up. Does it look like they were used to like create more barricades, or did something try to come up out of the floor?
As you go and you begin to glance around throughout the area, go ahead and roll perception as well.
I'm assuming the things in the room that are red are red because they're fully primary colored red.
Precisely. With a 19, as you glance down into these floorboards, it seems like people maybe use spells to compact the ground underneath here. The underside of this house actually seems very, very safe. In fact, as you glance, you actually begin to see not only just packed dirt, but as you really get down to ground level, you can see in the distance concrete underneath it. Solid stone.
But there's supposed to be a basement here, right?
Indeed. In fact, Vincent, as you begin to move around, you see a staircase going up and yet another going down.
Could I take a look around and see if I see anything that I think should be red, or like one of the other primary colors we're supposed to be able to see, but isn't? It's still gray.
I think that would be an impossible check. Unless, you're looking for something that you know to be naturally red.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gotcha.
Something that, I'm just like, I feel like this should be red, but it's not. Or like vice versa.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Because it's just like, oh, that couch.
Can I help?
I swear it was blue. But
Yeah. I was like, I've seen that couch in Cisco's.
Yeah.
One moment. Are you... Yes, you absolutely may.
For sure.
That's a 17.
Advantage. Also, just to double check, do I have everyone at their current level of exhaustion? Matilda, do you have any exhaustion?
she's at 1.
1? Okay.
Oh,
Oops, I
you
gave
should
you
have
2.
rolled those checks with disadvantage. All ability checks and skills.
Oh shoot, sorry, I forgot.
That's okay. We're past that one. Vincent, how many did you have?
I already put it in both Foundry and D&D Beyond.
Oh, I have a separate thingy. And Jojo, you have none. Paka has 2. Awesome. Matilda, did I get yours? There we go. As you all begin to move into place, let me check the last roll that was done. Jojo. Glancing around and like moving about the room and just taking a general glance towards everything. You take note that there is a door here. And as you kind of jiggle the lock itself, it does not seem like it opens. However, it also kind of rattles heavily and doesn't seem very sturdy.
Mhm.
But as you continue looking around, there's nothing here that seems particularly red that should be.
Okay. I'll just do my third and final magic awareness as well, just to get a good lay of the land here.
Within the area around you?
Yeah, in my current spot, 60 feet around me.
Gotcha. Here's what I'll do for you there. I'll just position you.
Oh, thank you.
I think you would probably just be like, I'm going to get 100% visibility. As you glance around best you can, for 12 seconds, you just move around and begin to scan the entire room. You do not sense any magic whatsoever, save for you all.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Out of curiosity, she doesn't detect any magic on Killian that isn't her items.
She does not.
Okay.
Also, as you are gleaming around with your magic awareness, and Vincent with your passive perception, you notice that there is a faint glitter of light within the fireplace on the right side.
Can you cast Gust? Try and like dislodge and see what it is? Is there anything there?
I'm glad no one is there, because when you cast Gust and it just poof, soot explodes from out of the fireplace and fills it like a 10-foot square before eventually settling, and you see ding 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 clattering across the ground is a small key that has been just covered in the debris of the fireplace. Just blackened.
It'll just he'll mage hand and it'll just float back up to him.
You grab onto it. You now have this blackened key.
Well, you got a key. I don't know what it's used for, but here, Parker, I'll hand it to him.
Usually a door.
Ooh, I love this part.
Unlocks his bag and throws it in. Completely unnecessary, but
What about this door, dear? And Killian, do you mind opening this one?
Oh, yeah.
I guess it already is open.
here's how that works. As you approach and you're like, yeah, I can, you begin to push on the doorway itself. And as you actually like just ream at it, it doesn't move at all. Go ahead and roll investigation. I will just close this temporarily. But the northern one you actually see, Vincent, is not a doorway, but a hole blown in the wall that has been barricaded by broken everything that they could find that is wood.
Never mind then.
With a 9 investigation. You approach the door and you try and open it. You use the handle, you push it, nothing. It rattles heavily, but it does not move from its current position.
Does it feel like it's locked, or does it feel like it's stuck?
It could be either at the moment. Like looking down at it, there is a keyhole, but it doesn't seem like it's for how rickety it seems. It should be opening just from a force, but it does not seem to be doing that. Perhaps it's barricaded on the other side, or it could be stuck or locked.
I'm gonna just motion over to Paka and say, do you think that key will fit in this?
He makes his way over.
Yeah, it'll fit. I can make it fit.
So he just slams it in, but no dice.
Okay. I'll give it one last attempt. This is not an investigation check. This is a Thieves' Tools check to see if I can't wiggle my way in.
Do you have proficiency with Thieves' Tools?
I am.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. Roll an intelligence-based Thieves' Tools check.
It's a mimic lock. It'll eat your tools.
It's a mimic named Sven.
I'd still disadvantage because it's a skill, and I'm tired.
Ooh.
You're thinking about it. You're doing your best. You're pulling into your knowledge, and you're using your Thieves' Tools to try and unlock it. One thing becomes clear to you with your proficiency in Thieves' Tools. It's not locked. In fact, it seems like there's no tumblers in the door at all. But right now, you've exhausted what you could to try and open this, and you feel like it's just kind of screwed right now.
Yeah, I don't know how well the mechanisms will work because everything here is made of wood. I don't know how they'd make tumblers and stuff. Like, there's nothing.
Not the key, though.
You know, the key. Well, I don't know. I haven't touched the key.
Well, Selin, dear, you kicked open the other one. Why don't you give this one a try?
I don't want to be known as the cleric who just kicks things. She leans back and just, with perfect form, goes for a kick. I'm gonna roll athletics.
Get the kicker title.
Oh, you'll get a cleric with powerful thighs, the Thunder Thighs title. Like,
Both of those are fucking trash titles. She leans in, kicks as hard as she can, and is just kind of reeled back for a moment, and then just kind of like examines it, and she's like, something's off.
Let's just chalk that one up to, we're having a bad day. To the
Well-
places to look. Upstairs or downstairs?
Hold
What do
on.
people want?
I have a thing I want to try. I'm gonna see if we can illuminate scary, dark. Well, I mean, scary for other people, but the dark staircase. Sorry, that was Tamara creeping in. It's like, so I grab a piece of like debris on the ground or like a piece of loose wood or whatever is just like lying around, and I cast light on it and I chuck it down the stairs.
It ignites into a bright light. You toss it down the stairs, and it does. It illuminates the darkness of the... You can see it kind of clatter down the broken staircase. In fact, you see the bottom section of this staircase just quite deceptive from your current angle looking down, but it is heavily broken, very weathered. So you take note to be careful on this staircase. And as you look down, you can see just the stone floor. You can hear it... boom.
Well, up or down?
We're supposed to go down.
Well, up is technically a dead end. Should be anyways. We've been caught in some weird Fey worlds before, so who knows? But we could check it out and then head downstairs.
Do you guys want to rest? You all look pretty tired. You want to keep going?
I mean,
Well-
wanting to rest and having the time to rest are two different things in the dungeon.
Yeah. I mean, this place is built to be defensible right now.
Nah. Vincent looks at the sturdiness of the rotting wood. Defensible is a word, you could say.
Well, it's been set up to be the best it could. Okay, if you want to keep going, that's fine by me.
Vincent will let out a bit of a whistle to try and get the attention of his sentry.
You let out that shrill whistle, and you just hear after a few moments just... as it makes its way, kind of just clomping its path through the house and eventually making it right up here, passing by Selene and just looking down at just this thin, wispy, white demonic form.
You know thieves can't? She says to Selene.
I thought you were looking at the horse. A horse passes by, you're like, you know thieves can't? You look like someone who knows thieves can't.
I mean, you look like a thief. What's your thief can't like?
Selene looks towards you and thinks on that. I am a cultured individual. Thank you very much.
It would be very useful if
Yes?
you did, dear.
Hand me the paper.
Wow.
Here you go.
He didn't even need to roll insight for that one.
Considering that, like, you have so many different like patrons, it makes sense to me that you probably know thieves can't. Exceptions in your wheelhouse, which isn't a bad thing. Just no.
I'll take this from someone who has quite a bit of experience. Deception and thievery are very different things. They come with their own baggage. She looks down towards the piece of paper and begins to read from it. Says, take this. You're not going to be getting another one. Use it to find us, but it's a weird... Don't fucking drop this one. And then she hands you the paper back.
That was found with the lantern, wasn't it? I guess don't drop it.
Looks like we're once again not alone in here.
Depending how the situation goes, I'm sure we could have. Don't assume that. Enemies.
Find us.
Are we assuming that the fire in the riddle is for the hot section of this place?
I think this might just be a magic item. Although
Okay.
I had my magic awareness up, and did I, like, while it was visible to me, right? So did it?
Past that point, yes, you've seen that this entire thing is covered in a divination energy. This is a magic item.
Okay, yeah, it's divination magic item. I don't.
Matches up
I
with what they said.
haven't rolled an Arcana to see if I recognize what type of magic item it is, huh?
No, you have not on this one. Feel free to roll Arcana. I will tell you this
Um,
too, as you were examining it and trying to like figure out its mechanisms through your knowledge of magic items in your vast study, the flame in it turns from that pale green to a yellow.
Oh, okay.
And as you begin to examine it, your
Could
Arcana
I
was
summon my flump to get advantage?
turns, it just ratifies itself.
I give you guidance.
Oh, do you give me guidance?
Yeah,
Is that
+4.
okay? Pretty good roll already. Hell yeah, 26.
With a 26, you recognize this magic item's function. You've not like attuned to it, but in your study, you recognize this immediately as a Memorial Fate dice.
Okay.
It's a
You
night
know
light.
this to be a lantern of tracking. This lantern has, as far as you are aware, with your general knowledge, just so we don't make identify that. I was like, inspect,
Yeah.
investigate. Now, every other I word. So we don't make those completely useless.
Yeah,
You know this to be a lantern of tracking, which has a base function of finding specific people that it has been attuned to. But you've also heard that the light in it has a particular color code towards when it's near that creature versus when it's far from that creature. But you don't know how many
Oh.
colors, what kind of colors, and various different things like that.
Okay.
I'm
I assume
assuming
you share
green
that
is
with us.
good, and
Yeah. She shares that with everyone.
green's probably good. I'm assuming red means bad.
Seeing that the color has changed since we've picked it up, Killian's just gonna immediately cast Identify, not as a ritual, on it, which takes 1 minute. So she's just gonna hunker down and do that because she's concerned that maybe someone is using it to track us now.
As you look towards this lantern, and you cast Identify upon it, this hooded lantern burns for 6 hours on 1 pint of oil, shedding bright light 30 and dim for another 30. Each lantern of tracking is designed to track down a specific type of creature, which is determined on rolling the lantern of tracking table. Once determined, this creature type cannot be changed. While the lantern is within 300 feet of any creature of that type, its flame burns green. The lantern does not pinpoint the creature's exact location, however. With Identify, you learn that this lantern has specifically been determined to seek elementals.
So if it turns green, that means there's an elemental within 300 feet of us.
And it was green when we
It
found
was
it.
green, and now it's not.
That means it left. You'll look up towards Sentry. Did you see anything while you were out there?
It just connects in telepathically and just releases its mind to you. Not necessarily in like words and speech, but in this just constant understanding images and thoughts and feelings. It saw nothing within its immediate area. In fact, for miles, there seemed to be nothing, an eerie amount of nothing. However, as it glanced down towards the ground in the distance, it did note that under the shifting ash, there was footsteps, and many, many of them, seemingly moving towards this location. But they were not being made currently, they were just there for God knows how long.
This lantern also only can be lit for a max of 6 hours, right? That's what you just found out? So whoever left it within the last 6 hours.
Because it was lit.
That means I think we should probably get moving. I feel like whatever was here before is probably still around. He'll look towards Sentry one more time. What was did you see any cellars outside? Trapdoors lit on the ground?
As it looks in towards you, it just basically gives you a lay of the land. There was the well outside, seemed like it could potentially lead underground, but there was also a massive barricade on the outside of the house. The outer chimney seems to like bump out from the house quite a ways, which was suspicious to the creature. and it mentions the grain silo that it had seen that might house some way down, but it is unaware that you guys had previously examined that.
Okay.
Matilda did ask if there was like any pathways that looked like only one way, so like a creature went there and they didn't come back out.
In your immediate area, the only thing that kind of fits that potential means, as you glance around, the upstairs itself seems to lead up, and you can see some like foliage and plants kind of hanging off over the side of the trellis or the handrail. And downstairs seems like it might be a one-way, but other than that, it just extends in all directions outside.
I meant more with the Vincent sentry, because I asked them to ask the sentry to see if there had been any paths that looked like someone had gone there and then not come back out, like it was like a door to a basement or something. That makes sense.
No, definitely not. Nothing particularly that specific.
With regards to the silo, Killian would tell them that, like, other than this, like, there was a chest there, but it was empty, and then just like these bags of grain.
Although apparently there was an elemental in there. Wait, what's the range on this lantern? 300? Okay, so it could be anywhere within this.
Yeah.
Well,
If
it's gone
Jojo gets
now.
back away, if Jojo gets away from the lantern, does it go back to being green?
Like you place the lantern down and walk away?
Yeah.
Do you try and get more than 300 feet away from it?
No. Just like far enough away that she thinks that maybe it's like maybe it was green because there was an elemental within 300 feet, but then Jojo got really close. So then it's like, oh, but the person immediately is not an elemental.
One way or the other, 300 feet is like its range. It wouldn't diminish one way or the other if you remained within that radius. If your intent is to try and see if it like attuned to you or something. But
No, that wasn't it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
You could do a quick lap around the room to see if the elemental has left only like 20 feet away from the last time.
I just want to circle back to that just briefly. What was your intent with the question?
I was wondering if Jojo being too close to it was messing with
Like
it
sensor.
finding. Yeah.
Oh, chaos magic. I see. As you
Not quite what I was looking for. I just
Okay.
I don't think I understood the magic item. So when there's an elemental within 300 feet, it turns green. But
Yeah.
Jojo getting closer to it isn't gonna fuck with that.
that would have that would have no effect.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. Vincent, you go and stare up the staircase, just destroyed once again, boards pried off. And this one actually, as you glance at it, your passive insight, these boards were pulled off in a way that seemed these people were scared. Like boards were removed, seemingly just like slammed into by a boot to try and halt progress of something.
He can't get up the stairs, right? I'm assuming.
You could. It would just take a little bit of walking.
You look towards Sentry. Go check it out for me.
Sentry moves in and begins to fly up. As it reaches the second floor, what is your range on telepathy with this creature?
It doesn't have telepathy. I thought you just gave it that. It can understand and speak my language. I'm assuming it would just be like normal and then vocal distance then if you wanted to have some sort of like weird imagery.
What's the range of your telepathy?
Oh, mine? Yeah, I could speak. It's 60. Or once I've connected to it, it lasts for 3 minutes and it's like 4 miles.
Okay. One way or the other, I think the creature goes upstairs, takes probably 10 minutes, just examining things carefully and returning back down, and just lets you know that there is a second floor there. As it has seen, there seems to be some kind of like trellis with what amounts to grapes. There was once a study that seems to be destroyed. There's a statue in the side of the wall and a bunch of different doorways leading to additional rooms in the house.
Doesn't seem to be anyone upstairs. A couple
No
rooms
creatures.
you didn't check, but
I think
more
that,
destruction.
I think that we should go downstairs, but I also really want to check the well first because we
Yeah.
we have a good
Currently,
historically very good with wells. Wells are a
I
good
also-
spot for us.
I'm also wondering because of the clue about fire, the fireplace extends out a bit further than it should, which is weird. Also, I want to see if it changes color, so I walk up close to the lamp and I want to see if the lamp changes from yellow to something else.
No effect.
We all don't get our own color? This is silly.
Yeah, I don't think it's... Killian's identification has been pretty on point. I think it just does what it says it does, and nothing more. It's just a magic item. Either way, it's neat. I think it's going to be useful. Well, you want to check the well. Matilda, what exactly do you want to do with the chimney? He looks towards it.
Well, I was wondering about the rhyme, because it says undertill and then fire. What was it? Hold on, I have it written
I
down.
think the fire one we've established as the hot area. Don't
That's
think
what
it has
I
anything to do with this.
thought, but I wasn't sure because your sentry said that the fireplace, like the chimney, extended out really far back in it.
No, it looked like it had bulged out, almost like something had like probably collapsed it out or anything like that. It's not like there's a huge extension back, Adrian, right?
The chimney looks like it was built significantly larger than it would ever need to be built. Yeah.
Yes.
So it looks like the chimney is huge behind it, but looking in the chimney, it's just a small space.
Okay, so it's not like something exploded in it. It was actually built to be really, really big.
Yeah.
But it's tiny in the house. Okay, but it's still weird, regardless.
It's definitely noteworthy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Selin, want to use that foot again?
I thought you'd never ask. Sentry begins to move into the center of the room and continues just looking around. Meanwhile, it's still invisible. Boop, there's the sentry. Selene, where do you want me? I think Jojo's probably more equipped for kicking than I am.
Yeah, I'm thinking you guys all look really tired. You want me to check out this fireplace? That's what you want?
Yeah,
Give it
maybe
a
see if there's a false wall.
Yeah, give it a knock.
Okay, yeah, Jojo will. There's no fire in here right now, right?
No, it's all long since been
Yeah,
set.
she'll go in here and just sort of like drag a hand along, trying to find any like loose stones or false walls, or
Give it a knock.
she'll look up. Yeah, she'll knock around, do the full sweep.
Yeah.
As you turn and you look up, so go ahead and roll just investigation for me here.
Does my flump help still?
Your flump can help you with anything that you yourself are proficient in.
Awesome.
Give me guidance.
Okay.
I would have just got it before the thing was determined.
That's a 22 then.
You look up and you see that there is a like metal gate on the top, which is standard, but it extends upwards and is just solid stone above that. This chimney is not functional from what you can see currently. And as you begin to examine the back, you notice one loose stone. You push it in and it just like dum, 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 lands on the inside of a hollow chamber. And as you continue to kind of push, it just siphons in until eventually you see a hollow chamber of a chimney leading up to the second floor.
Huh. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, we could get to the second floor from here. Do we want to?
It seems like stairs with extra steps, honestly.
There's a metal grate. I know you mentioned that there was no metal in here, so.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of closed doors. This could get us behind one of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, go up and check it out. Call up if you need anything. We'll come over.
Okay. Could I send Maflump up and like look through its eyes?
It's very interesting eyes to look through as well.
Yeah.
But when you when
You
when
know
you
what?
send
I think its name's Gambit. I was like trying to think of a better. I have a rat that's already named Gambit. She's like, nah, I like the name Gambit, and that other rat's not even alive. So.
Here's what I will say. It goes up, and as it does so, you send the flump in. You step in yourself. As soon as you enter into the threshold here, you see, you smell this just horrifically acrid scent of death. You send the flump up, and it just begins to like suction cup crawl its way up, trying to look like a rat best it can, and reaches the second floor where it notices that there are more loose stones to the point where its own weight is beginning to push these stones in. But not only that, there are two exits seemingly from this this chimney. It lets you know that it can potentially loose one of the stones and move in if you would like it to.
Yeah, let's try that.
Pushes the stone in, and then as you kind of move through with its senses, it looks around and you see what amounts to a child's bedroom. Bits of red just flush shoots out as you can see some colored blocks in the distance, and to the right some toys and a writing desk ignited in this brilliant red. But as you enter in, kind of landing on a a open chest of drawers. You look around and see that the entire place also seemingly abandoned. This room in the distance, just in the corner, you see that there is an adventurer who lays down.
Oh.
You can tell because they wear a bond of a multi-headed dragon in the center of their forehead, but they are laying back against the wall, slumped and unconscious.
Oh, multi-headed dragon. That should I roll religion or?
Feel free.
Tiamat.
Yeah, I figured Tiamat, but I don't know if JoJo knows it's Tiamat.
Precisely.
Or
You recognize the bond of Tiamat.
Okay. Yeah, JoJo will have been talking out loud to all of her party members to let her know what she's been seeing this whole time, and then she'll let you know. Yeah, there's an adventure for Tiamat up there. They're
Are they dead?
unconscious.
Oh.
They're unconscious. I don't know. They might be dead. I don't really
you
want
can't
to
hear
send.
me.
Oh, right. I can't hear you.
Like you're just like, are they dead? And she's just like, remains.
They might be
silent.
dead. Yeah. I think she's gonna call Gambit back, or just like snap, and then it's gonna up and go
Anyway,
back
up
to its little
Effectively.
plane.
Oh,
I mean, we can go up the stairs, or we can climb up here.
that's true. The stairs. Try and be light
You-
as foot. I don't know how many people they'll be able to handle, but if you like, I can. Selin or Jojo, you could head up first, then we could go in after.
Do we want to go up?
Well, if we save this lovely individual, they could owe us a favor.
Julian, you like helping people. What do you want to do?
I mean, if they're dead, we can have their stuff, right?
Yeah, that's actually very
That's the
fair.
point.
Very economical of you. They're not using it anymore. Their body's just organic matter at that point.
And if they're not, then we can help them. If they want to be helped.
Then
Sorry,
we'll
go
head
ahead.
up.
I don't know what you guys are doing or how you're doing it, but I love it. So as Selene looks on towards the staircase, as you guys all kind of just like, should we go up? Ooh, that's tricky. Do we want to go up? But let's. Is this how Selene's
No,
just like?
Vincent's been both
"Fuck's
telling
sakes,"
Jojo and
just
Selin
dives.
to go up the stairs. He's just not doing it himself.
To ascend or descend these stairs, though you know that they are horrifically damaged, it will be an athletics or acrobatics check to ascend safely, but you have advantage because you're fully aware of the danger. Selene turns, jumps, lands on the top of the staircase, and just begins to head up to the second floor.
Is it like equally challenging to scale this like inside of the chimney place to get through this wall?
It seems like it'd be it's relatively bumpy stone. It'd pretty much just be climbing.
I think JoJo might try and go up that way.
Killian will go that way as well.
Yeah, JoJo will help Killian up.
Perfect.
Oh, it's supposed to be neutral because I'm technically at disadvantage, so it's still a 20 because 16 was my first roll.
You turn back, you prepare, you begin to move forward, and putting the elf in the party to shame, you do this like pirouetting jump and just land blissfully atop the staircase. Moving forward, she's like, how do you... Okay.
Vincent just looks over at her and smiles. He is a practice dear.
No doubt.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
You ascend the staircase and make your way to the second floor.
Okay.
Ouch.
No. I was making a decision. I was like 1 to 10, I'm taking the stairs. 11 to 20, I'm going up the chimney. So
Oh, well,
Matilda's
that's
going
good.
up. Yeah, Matilda's going up the stairs.
And Jojo, you climb up the chimney. Matilda, you prepare yourself to go up the stairs. Go ahead
Yeah.
and roll athletics or acrobatics. And Jojo, as you begin to climb, the stones themselves seem to almost like faintly give way underneath your weight, but seem to hold as you climb up with your proficiency in athletics. No need to worry about it.
Okay,
You just reach
I'd
the top.
Killian up first. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm being helped up.
Okay. In that case, I will need
Athletics
Killian, athletics with advantage.
check. I assume that I can't use acrobatics here.
Fuck you. I think you could. Probably
It's
hopping
kinda
off the
like-
walls
If
one
I'm
way to the
tossing-
other.
Trying not
you
to be weighty, trying to like get a little boost and then like just kind of balance amongst the rocks.
Anytime we can use acrobatics in a position where athletics might be usable,
yeah.
as long as it's reasonable, I like it.
To be
Sick.
fair though, I don't think I can help you with acrobatics because I'm not proficient.
But you
That
do
is
get
fair.
thrown.
So do I take disadvantage? I think I'll try disadvantage No, I'll go athletics. I'll get the help. It didn't matter.
You are hoisted up, but you are simply too exhausted. And as you place a foot on the side and turn, you jump. You kind of just don't jump far enough, and you fall, landing back on Jojo. Each of you takes half of 1 point of fall damage. Each of you takes 1 point of bludgeoning damage. And as you kind of just like catch Killian back in the means.
Maybe I'll just carry you.
Oh, okay. And I'll do that like wrap around like neck, like not in a choking way, but like kind of like around the side. Yeah.
And as you climb, I will say this, well within your carry capacity, so you just toss Killian on the back and begin to go up. And Matilda, athletics or acrobatics?
You said we had advantage on the stairs, or is that just
yes?
Instant?
No, you have advantage on the stairs.
Okay,
advantage, but we're exhausted, so then it'd be
it's
neutral.
normal. Okay, so to make sure. Yes.
You make your way to the steps. You're kind of like, okay, good. You hop, you land on the front. You're like, oh, good. And immediately slam down. You hit the wood boards underneath you.
Oh.
And they give way. You immediately fall as the hollowed out section of this area drops you down. You fall about 20 feet and you slam down into the solid stone of the basement below. And dust just shoots upwards. As you listen around, you can hear it's like faintest skittering in the darkness around you, but the light that you had thrown previously shows creatures that are just sequestering themselves to the corners of this dark room. Roll roll nature.
Oh god. Matilda calls up and like, I didn't separate on purpose.
I'm gonna temporarily delete you and bring you in.
Oh, okay. Oh my god. Fucking Christ. What the heck is going on with me and falling down things today?
I feel like that could have gone better. Don't you think so?
Yes. Oh.
Top thumping.
She just looks down and sees the dust plume, and Matilda yell out, she's like, I didn't do it on purpose. She's like, she sounds fine though.
I know.
Okay,
I'm debating whether we need to go after her or we could do this first.
Oh, disadvantage, right?
No, just a straight roll.
Oh, because I have 1 level of exhaustion.
That's right. Thank you.
Oh, Matilda, it was so good. The one was so good.
All you can see is like the backs of their carapaces, and there seems to be at least 3 in each corner of this room, so you can't entirely discern what they are, but you notice that they have a faintly red hue to them. They seem like almost like a beetle, but a bunch of them are clumped up in the corners. Go ahead, Killian.
I never gave Bladebeak any other command since saying protect Matilda, so I think Bladebeak is just gonna like, you fall and you're like, I didn't do it on purpose, and then like you see all the skittering things, and then you just see like Bladebeak just go down the stairs into the basement, to be as near to Matilda as it can detect.
Bladebeak needs to roll athletics or acrobatics.
All right.
And I don't think Bladebeak can. Bladebeak's not conscious, so I won't give it the advantage because you guys are like cognizantly aware that there is a danger here, but I don't think Bladebeak can be.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. It can't be surprised though, so there is that.
Totally cool. Beautiful. Just kind of legs reach out to the sides of the banisters, clamp on, go over the hole, and just continue down until it's next to Matilda.
Even though Matilda is like a little like hesitant about the bug, she like watches how beautifully Bladebeak descends with so much irritation.
I like to think that Bladebeak's like its legs, because like they like go up on the banisters and splay, but like the head just kind of like droops down, so that it's like within a few feet of the ground to just like scan.
Yeah.
Bladebeak also takes note of these creatures in the corners. There's basically each corner of the room that you guys can see visibly. There's about 3 of these bug-like creatures. Meanwhile, as we cycle back from the basement scene, we find our allies on the 2nd floor.
Sentry, do you want to get that door?
It begins to move forward.
We can't hear you, Adrian.
Sorry about that. It begins to move forward. Which door are you pointing to?
This one.
See the outside accidentally. There you go. Which one?
This one.
Excellent.
The one right in front of him.
It walks up towards the door, and you see it like lift a hoof awkwardly, and it forms a new joint and like pulls the leg back and reaches forward. And then you see the hoof kind of split as it grabs onto it from two sides and just begins to turn the door handle. Locked. It actually continues to do this one door at a time, all of them locked.
Do Killian and I get into the room?
Absolutely. If you climb the stairs, there's a teleport at the top that you can use to get up to the second floor.
Well,
Well, they went in the chimney.
we went through the chimney.
Oh, the chimney. Here, let me go ahead and bring you guys over there as well.
I like your pictures like Go-Go Gadget, like sentry hoof, and I was like, you don't like it.
Yeah. That's Bladebeak's forte. I wouldn't steal that. So there is 2 entrances out of the chimney. As you guys, I'm just gonna kind of throw you guys all the way around here.
Okay.
Yum, 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 yum. I'm assuming you grabbed the lantern again?
Yeah.
Yeah, Killian has it.
Excellent. So there are 2 exits from this chimney. There's one in the center leading out, and there's the one that Gambit had entered into.
In the center leading out to the outside wilderness, you mean?
There is one here and one here, both leading into the home.
Oh, I see.
To different rooms.
I think we wanted to do the one with the adventurer, right?
Yeah.
As you guys approach, you pop open the wall there enough for you guys to actually manage to get through just by pushing it. You see it clatter against, and the 2 of you enter into this child's bedroom. And as you look in, you can see the adventurer on the corner over here, sitting with the Tiamat bond upon his forehead. Let me make that fellow invisible.
Jojo,
Yeah.
can you see if the door can open from your side? We're locked out.
I will try that, but I'll check for traps first, because I'm assuming this person would have trapped the door.
Go ahead. As you approach, you can see that there is a kind of string attached from one side to the other, and there's like a dagger sitting on an incredibly tight bit of. As soon as you open that door, this thing's gonna fly in towards you.
Right, but pretty easy to disarm from this side, I'm guessing.
You just snip it. Like,
Okay,
no problem
cool.
whatsoever. Pull the tension, cut it, it's done. But as you approach the door, you can see that it itself has been barricaded from this side.
Would any of us in our party know if that trap looks similar to the one that was in the inn with the marble? Like, is it the same person?
Amir's in a trap.
Yeah.
It's not
Amir again?
it's
Yeah.
not as convoluted. But it
Okay.
does seem around the same wheelhouse of trickiness.
Okay.
But we know Amir did all that. Like, that's not a mystery anymore.
Every time Amir shows up, she's like, "Sorry, I tried to kill you. Help me though."
Yeah, like, I don't know.
Man, I know she always tries to kill us, but I just can't hate her.
She's a bloody sitcom. The doorway opens as you unbar it from this side, Jojo. And this person who seemed to have been taking refuge within this slightly less destroyed room lies in the corner.
Still unconscious, even though we've been pretty noisy.
No movement whatsoever.
I want to get not quite within 5 feet. I just want to kind of like start kind of like whispering at them, like, "Hey, hello? Are you okay? Are you awake? Are you dead?"
You begin to move towards them and whisper. No motion. Nothing.
I'm gonna bark up my mage hand and just start like poking them.
No motion. In fact, as you poke the face, the body kind of slumps over against the wall. You can see their hands are kind of like clutched down, holding onto their stomach, and they're sitting almost in like a fetal pose, but they now slam against the side of the wall, kind of just leaning. You see their body begin to shuffle slightly. They look human, yes. Shaved head for the most part, except for a small strip of hair leading back towards the back.
Well, I will. I might get stabbed, but here goes nothing. I'm gonna do a medicine.
I'll go ahead and roll medicine.
Yes. Traditionally, my best skill.
Roll a D100. As you lean down, and begin to inspect this individual. You just move one hand and begin to check, and then you reach down towards the stomach. And as you touch what you're just okay, gonna feel the stomach. You reach, and your hand just keeps going until eventually you realize that you are just reaching into a caved-in hole where the stomach once was. And in that moment, and as you pull your hand back, where your third finger was, is now just nothing. And you hear on the inside of the stomach as a single tendril moves out, grabs the hand, and pulls it back into position once more. And just the body maintains that faint jerking motion in the corner.
Oh shit, are you okay?
I think Killian's not just standing there. She has pushed herself back and is prone on the ground, backwards crab walking. There's something inside of him. It took my finger.
Jojo's gonna
What?
firebolt the body.
Steps back into the doorway. I was just looking over here. What happened? He looks down.
You lean back, you turn, you take aim, and you just let loose a firebolt towards the body. Vincent, you look into the room in confusion, and you can see blood as Killian's holding onto her hand, just trying desperately to keep from just bleeding out. You take 10 points of piercing damage from the bite, and as you loose that firebolt, Selene looks in towards the panic and begins to move in as well. Go ahead and roll to hit.
I think Killian might need some first aid.
Oh fuck. I'm not good with blood.
14 to hit?
You're
14.
clear.
You take aim and you just let loose a firebolt. Flies in towards the body of the creature, and as it impacts, you just hear from the inside as you see the back of the creature's kind of just leather almost jerkin. He rolls off to the side of the wall, and you can see it begin to poke out. Faint bits of cloth begin to tear as individual little spines begin to poke towards the back, and as it burrows its way out the other side of this adventurer, you see tendrils that form and solidify into legs that begin to pull itself in. It's currently restrained within the body of this dead adventurer, but as you look towards this thing, it is desperately trying to get out. That flame lashes across its body and damages it quite heavily. And as you are looking towards this creature beginning to emerge, you guys still have the chance to do something here. What do you do? Selene runs in, leans down, and will reach into her bag and pull out a single medical kit. Open it up, and she does have the healer feat, so she is going to heal you for a little bit.
I just firebolted again. Is that what my other action could be?
You guys absolutely can. This thing is currently just digging its way out of the back of the body and is temporarily restrained.
You don't see that thing over there. Interesting. I'm assuming we want it gone.
Yeah, I think so. It's a 12 to hit.
12 does not hit
You said
the body.
it's restrained? Does that mean that I get advantage?
Melee attacks
Melee
have
attack.
advantage.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
It's only when you use to stabilize a dying creature. There you go. Killian, you restore 10 hit points. That is entirely what it bit
nice.
off of you. And the wound on your finger kind of closes as the bleeding stops. Selene begins to bind you as best she can and then leans back, looking in towards this thing. Vincent, you also get an action if you like.
He'll look at this thing up and down. He needs it to roll a intelligence saving throw.
Does not succeed.
Takes 8 points of psychic damage.
8, okay.
It has the Mind Sliver effect on it for the next round. And
Oh, Mind Sliver? Perfect. So as you spike into this creature with a just mental spike of energy, here's what happens. When its turn comes around, it, noticing that it's under a barrage of attacks, flips the body over so you can see the caved out entrance of the stomach, and you just see the body being used as a cover, as the creature just begins to skitter, enclosed within it, begins to make its way towards the hole in the wall that you had opened to Jojo. Jojo and Killian, you can both get an attack of opportunity here, but it is technically 3/4 cover at this point. As it passes by you, you can see this hardened carapace on the top of it, just almost red amber in color.
You got anything that makes it roll a magic save? It'll be weakened.
For a melee attack, you can only attack of opportunity melee attack though, right?
I didn't
Unless
know
you have-
if you guys have Warcaster or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Advantage. That's a 19 to hit.
19. You bring the blade in. Roll damage.
Nice.
Killian is not taking an attack opportunity.
Makes absolute sense. With 7, you just slam down through the hardened carapace and just crunch as you hear the just sickening splat and pin this creature to the ground. You see the legs kind of just splay out underneath it, and ash begins to fleck away from the inside of the adventurer.
Oh my goodness, what the hell was that?
Vincent will send a message down to Matilda in the basement. Hey, Matilda, dear, you see anything that's skitters, or is it an insect? Don't touch it, or you'll lose your pretty little hand.
Meanwhile, in the basement, you see in your immediate view 9 creatures that skitter and seem like they've matched this.
Okay. Do they not like the light that's on the ground, I'm assuming?
They seem to be avoiding the bright light as they have skittered away into the corners now.
I approach the thing that I lit, and I light it again. And I just kind of wait. Like a standoff with the bugs. Like Matilda's like, you're kind of creepy and gross, but so am I, so let's see who's gonna...
Roll intimidation. It's kind of natural intimidation all creatures feel. And the fact that, like, a bear staring you in the eyes, right? It might be each one of these creatures is individually terrified, or maybe they find the courage. Let's find out.
Okay. Oh, man. I wish I had advantage, but I don't. Oh, Matilda, you're spooky and you're ooky. Yeah, not bad.
16, you hold the light up and you begin to kind of, like, just move it around, and you can see the creatures moving off into the corners in fear of it, maintaining their distance from you.
Okay. I transfer the light from the object to my brooch, or like a pendant that's here on my neck, so that I don't worry about losing the object. And then they come get me. And do I see where they're going? Are they leaving the basement?
Currently, they're just cloistered in the corners. They don't seem to be moving. They're just trying to stay away from the light.
Okay.
You can also respond to Vincent's message.
I wasn't sure if it had happened, or if this is like meanwhile, because some stuff happened before.
You received the message.
Okay, cool. Noted. There's 9 down here. They aren't harming me yet.
Okay. Vincent just like turns to the rest of the party, remaining calm, and just like, so I think Matilda has encountered a couple of them in the basement, but she seems to have it handled.
Well, we shouldn't be split up like this.
Can Killian look for her finger?
Yes, you stab the body. You look down into the caved-in adventurer, and you can see the separated goblinoid finger within the stomach, or what would be a stomach.
She'll just take that out, kind of rub it on her apron. Kind of
We'll figure that out here.
Yeah, just gotta put it in her bag.
I think that Jojo's gonna pick up the dead body and then just go down the stairs and jump down the hole that Matilda fell through.
As you just descend, you plummet. Let me go ahead and I'll just drag you out again.
Sentry?
This is gonna be fun.
I mean, hold on. If you guys wanted to look upstairs more, Matilda can wait. She's cool down here. She can wait for y'all.
As you're thinking how cool Matilda is down here, Jojo slams into the ground beneath, holding a destroyed body. And Matilda, as you were examining the room around you, go ahead and roll perception as well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jojo, you land, boom, sending out waves. Actually, that's fair. Matilda, you also fell. You need that damage. So both of you take 7 points of fall damage. And sending out just waves of ash in your 3-point hero landing. You land in the basement and see Matilda. Matilda, with your perception check, you take note that there is a wall to the west of you, to your left, that seems newer than the rest of the stone in the area around. Seems more recently erected. And as we circle back up to the second floor, what were you saying, Vincent, earlier?
Assessing the situation with the fall, does he think he can use sentry in some way? Get on top of him, help him brace his fall?
If you jump on Sentry, it's got a flight speed. It can just gently and magically land upon the floor.
He'll do that.
You
Look
hop.
towards Selene. Do you want to come down?
That thing doesn't seem big enough for the both of us.
Well, he can take multiple trips, dear.
Yeah, get to work. Snaps her fingers. The creature looks over towards her and just gives her a glare, and she's like, ugh. Does it hate me? And it's just like, yes! So you hop onto Sentry's back and descend. Killian, do you go with everybody at this moment?
I suppose I could. In the other than this adventurer, like, we didn't really investigate anything.
Yeah,
else around
that's why
here, right?
I was like, what do you want?
Yeah,
Maybe.
well, pressing.
I
matters.
just didn't want Matilda to be.
Yeah.
You can
Selene went with Sentry, or is not yet?
Vincent went down first, and then he would have instructed Sentry to go back up. So whoever wants to jump on next can.
Gotcha. Killian will just, thank Selene. She'll be like, thanks. Do you when it was a good house, were any of the rooms? Hello? Hey, come back.
I'm just moving everyone at current. You're good. Continue.
When it was a good house, like, were there certain rooms that were for certain purposes? Do you think while it's destroyed, do you think it might have different meanings or have the same things in them but different?
You can see she once again struggles, like visibly so. And as she begins to think on this, I'm gonna roll a check. Can I roll insight, not on her and her ability or her inability to recall these things, but can I roll insight to see if that's the same kind of feeling that I get when I think about my traversal from the 10th floor down to Ashfall? Go ahead and roll insight with advantage.
12.
Her past seems to be mired not only in this just difficulty to recall something in the past, but you've heard of the longevity of elves. The fact that she's having difficulty recalling specific information is odd to you, but in her face there's a fear. It seems like this is some kind of a traumatic response.
Okay.
And as she's thinking on this, she's just, I know that doors upstairs were locked. We managed to get into the master bedroom. And we rested there for a time. But for the most part, that's really all I recall.
Hey, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. It was just a thought. I'll take the next one, in regards to Sentry coming up and picking people up.
And Vincent, where are you? Let me bring you down.
Which is to say, Killian will go last.
Gotcha.
Not, as in, she'll take the next one, cutting ahead in line. As in, she'll wait for the next one.
As Sentry kind of lifts and brings you all down, and you kind of carefully and nicely bring yourself down. Sentry turns its head around. I've been describing it as demonic, but it's actually more devilish. My apologies. But as it turns its head around towards you and faces you, its eyes glaring into you, it just turns back and says, "You're not the worst." It lands on the ground underneath. Sentry moves up towards you, Vincent, and lays down and kind of just places its massive horse head down towards your leg, and it's just like, "Did I do well?"
Amicable for this time. We'll work on it.
Your words honor me.
Jojo's gonna turn to Matilda. Hey, why'd you go off on your own again?
I want to insight to see if Matilda can tell if you're joking or being
Yeah.
serious.
Oh, please roll a 2. That'd be so good.
Hang on. Should I roll deception or?
It's an 8. You gotta be
yeah.
an 8.
Roll deception.
Perfect.
So I think you're being serious.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I
You
pull out
think
my,
she's? You can't tell. You think she's probably being genuine.
I
unless you
pull out
assume
my
she's
spell
not.
book and I smack you with it, being like, "Don't today." I like you don't even take any damage from it because she's so weak. But like,
Yeah, Jojo just laughs. She doesn't even try and like dodge it. She just laughs as you hit it.
Well,
trying to
you
get
weren't
up the
kidding when you
stairs.
said that you were fine down here.
I fell down. There's I mean, them and I have an understanding, and I like stare at them again with like the underlit face.
Well-
with the light.
Tell them not to remove any more of our body parts. To look towards
Oh.
Gillian.
Are they the same creatures?
As you glance,
Or are they
they seem identical.
Okay.
Did you make a deal with it? Did it ask for a finger?
No, it didn't ask. It just took.
Oh, that's not cool.
Some of the
Oh.
creatures in the top left corner begin to skitter along the roof, and in the light, I'll actually just reveal these creatures.
If any get within like they look like they're trying to get closer to any of us and not further away, we'll mind spike one.
I don't like the light.
The creatures are currently about 20 feet up, hanging on top of the roof.
Does this one
Ugh.
attempt to get closer when it's skittered? I assume.
It is attempting to move closer. It kind of like turns its attention towards, and as you guys are talking, begins to crawl along the roof towards
Yeah,
it.
Vincent will cast Mind Sliver on it.
Wait,
Alright,
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if it's.
You don't.
Oh.
It just goes off.
You turn and you begin to just blast this creature with a mass amount of psychic energy.
I need an intelligence saving throw. As he just
This
glares
is-
at it.
Did it squeak?
I'm sure.
So I don't know that it can succeed these things. As you blast it with this amount of psychic energy, it takes how much damage is that? 7?
I just imagine from Matilda's point of view, it's like, I'm just a baby.
Yeah. Matilda has no idea it was in that body, so she's like, "Don't hurt it. It hasn't done anything."
You hit it, it
It
immediately
moves
just
closer to
and begins to move along the roof back into the
Oh.
corner in fear.
It moves
Oh.
closer to us. That's all it needs to do to
Yeah,
receive
but
that.
I don't. Why are you holding a body, Jojo? That's usually something
Oh.
that I would do.
This is that Tiamat person. They're one of these things were like inside of it, moving it around. It was real creepy. And it's like the one that ate Killian's finger.
Oh,
We killed that one.
hold on. I want to look at the body.
Okay. To put it down.
Um,
I brought it
like-
because I wanted to check it, but I didn't want to leave you alone for too long.
Oh. Okay.
Mentally, Vincent will command Darling to shoot any of them that move closer to us.
Oh, let me change that name properly.
Or not Darling, Sentinel.
Entry.
Sentry.
Was that Sentinel or Sentry?
Sentry.
Awesome. For me writing this one in. There we go. And Matilda, you lean down and you begin to examine the body. Roll medicine.
Yes. The thing that I am looking for is whether or not these bugs took advantage of a dead body or they buried it when it was alive, and there's ways that you can tell. So Matilda's going to look. Was this done post-mortem? Or is it done
Pre-mortem.
pre-mortem, or done as a
Meditated.
cause of death?
Third degree mortem.
I heard meditative mortem. You're just like, when I really get stressed, I just like to dig out my own stomach.
I'm gonna
It's
guide
kind of like a
myself.
meditative mortem.
I'm guiding myself.
Examining the body.
20.
Ooh, that's a doctor's level of knowledge right there. With disadvantage, exhausted, you look
Disadvantage.
down over the body and begin to pick apart the little tidbits of information. The wound itself seems to have been gashed open aggressively, but not only that, you did not notice blood in the room. The rest of you, at the very least, and this person had been just literally opened from the inside, as this creature seemed to have made its way into this individual and has remained there for probably quite some time based on the just lacerations of the interior of the body. It's also managed to work its way up and out and around, basically emptying
Ooh.
the skeleton. This creature
Kinda
is...
cool.
This guy is just a puppet.
But does it look like the bugs did it, or was it a wound that they already had and they crawled in?
100% bugs, baby.
Oh. You
It
know,
is a bug.
sometimes they put maggots on wounds because they eat the dead flesh and they cover it, and that usually helps. But they did the opposite. They decided to eat everything the healthy and the dead stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to know. Sentry.
Yeah.
Luckily,
And
they're
Sentry
really
will
light to
start hitting
carry,
this
though.
one.
Sentries
Probably-
starts blasting.
Oh.
I just missed something. You had Sentry do what?
I was having him hold a blast for anyone that gets closer, but Matilda's just like, yeah, they burdened them alive, and like blah 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 blah. He didn't need to even finish that. He's just, we are now blasting these things.
And I just started blasting.
As you turn your attention towards the creatures, and they skitter into the corner, holding themselves in place. As soon as what ability is this?
It's hurl flame.
Ooh.
I will make a ranged attack. $19 to hit.
Hurl Flame is one target. So as you lean back, it kind of launches a gout of flame out towards the creature and just engulfs it. Go ahead and roll damage.
I like that it showed up in a different language on the
It
stream
did,
screen.
it did for
It was
you.
also
it did for
incorrect,
me.
so now it's
No, on
fire.
the stream screen.
Oh.
11 fire.
Leaning back, taking aim. Do you want to attack the one that was previously mind slivered or the one that's up here?
This one. Oh, mine's the one. It's fine.
With an additional 11 points of damage and 7 from before, you blast this creature from flame, and as it just ignited in flame, it just drops like a husk to the ground and just splatters. You see the carapace break from the fall, and it just like kind of splays out. The rest of the bugs immediately begin shaking aggressively at the death of this one and begin moving in towards the light. Having fought their fear now in order to maintain their own lives, they begin to descend upon you all.
Oh no.
Everybody, take a break. We will come back in 15 minutes,
Okay.
and I'll see you all then. Everybody, roll initiative. Let me throw you guys into the tracker here. Okay.
No, I'm at disadvantage.
Pretty consistently bad at initiative.
I'm first for some fucked up reason. Sentry just goes after me. Age wasn't needed.
That's fine. What is your initiative? 11.14. And where's Bladebeak? Bladebeak is 10.13. And Matilda, Matilda and Selenay taking up the rear on this one.
Mm-hmm.
As you all look on, these creatures begin to skitter in towards you, in just this, almost creating this kind of buzz throughout the entire room that feels mildly disorienting. Vincent, you begin the initiative.
Killing the first one, it fell down from the ceiling. It didn't really seem. They don't seem strong, right?
They do not seem particularly strong.
He's going to lift his hand up and cast a spell. A bunch of bolts will start appearing in the air around him, like black, shadowy bolts, and he is going to target this one.
That one with all the bolts?
No, this is just the first one. He'll do 2 of them then. So I don't know if we want all of them to be
We do
full
the
damage.
yeah, we do
each,
the same damage from a single roll.
Cool. So this guy takes 8 damage. And then this guy takes 8 damage.
Bringing yourself back, the components reverberate through the room, and you launch out these shadowy bolts that impact into the creatures. They remain standing, but they both look really bad off.
And so we'll back up a bit.
There is a dead body there, in case you wanted to step on that.
It doesn't matter. He'll step through it.
You hop into like just onto the Tiamat adventure, and as you stand, kind of just like
5 foot square, standing next to it.
Okay, legs kind of splayed out, standing in the same space. The adventurer laying their eyes just hollowly staring upwards.
And he'll end his turn, and then Sentry will go. Sentry is going to take a defensive position, flapping its wings and looking menacing in front of Vincent. And it'll hurl a ball at, like, basically the inside of him starts to glow and his whole body goes incandescently blue, and he gathers a bunch of energy, and out of like the center of his back, this kind of blue orb will form, and it'll shoot a fire towards this guy.
Go ahead and roll that hit.
To do everything manually, so I'll be a little bit slower for these ones.
Totally cool.
Okay.
That's 126 damage. I've killed the giant, guys. Let's move on. As you unleash the fire, the just flaming orb towards them. You say it is blue flame, do you?
Mm-hmm.
The creatures seem abnormally terrified of it. In fact, they attempt to skitter out of the way of it, and do not manage to do so. Trying desperately to get away from this gout of flame. However, as you slam into it, go ahead and roll damage.
13 fire damage.
13?
And if they're flammable, they light on fire.
Creature immediately lights on fire, slams into the ground, splatters out, and the remains just flitter away into ash. Also, for narrative reasons, these creatures take about a minute to actually flitter away, but I'm removing them because you could pretty much stomp on them, and they are not difficult to rein in.
I like to picture their carcasses are still blue and on fire, though, for that one.
100%.
Cool. That'll be good to note. Cool. And Sentry just kind of takes a defensive stand in front of Vincent and ends his turn.
And Killian, you're up.
All right. Killian, with her passive, does she know that there's ones sneaking up on us over here?
I think you would be fully aware of all of them in the room, because when you guys all appeared here, you probably got a good look.
There are none in this corner?
None.
Okay.
You fell into my trap of lying. 3 of them fall upon you. No, go ahead.
Killian just like kind of hoofs it, like throws her back up against the wall, and kind of fumbles with one less finger for her rifle before opening fire on this one.
Just an FYI, 2 levels of exhaustion, your speed is halved.
I only have 1.
Oh, okay, Susan.
Oh, why does it say I have 2? I should. Oh, because I put 1 and then you.
Oh, it's only 1.
I just changed it back to 1. It was 2, for some reason.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Nonetheless, pew pew. Shoot. Oof. Not good. Does a 10 hit?
A 10 on the creature does not hit. As you take aim, the nature of having lost a finger just lays down on you too much, and it slams against the wall. They begin to skitter around.
I kind of like recoil, like try holding it a different way, and take another shot. 19 to hit this time.
Assuming that hits.
Oh, I'm sorry. 19 absolutely hits. Please roll damage. I was sitting here thinking about something else, and I was just like, this is a fun game we play, guys. So that
10
is
damage.
10 damage. You blast into the creature. Which one did you target previously? I don't see the mark. That one? Perfect. And just unleashing that blast. It is still standing. It is heinously wounded. You see basically like legs have been blown off, and the carapace is just holding onto the roof by sheer will.
And then I'm gonna whistle the blade beak, get him to. I can't control blade beak for some reason.
I got you. Where's Bladebeak?
Bladebeak is right here. I would like him to be right there, and he's just gonna essentially hold his action. If anything comes near Killian, cut.
Excellent. Bladebeak, mouth opens, blade begins. Jojo, you were up.
Okay. Jojo's going to go over here. She's going to run over here and then turn around and chaos bolt this one.
The old bait and switch.
Yeah, the old tricky. Let me just pop open this HUD for myself. And I'm going to do a chaos bolt. I will cast that spell.
The old bolt and bolt.
The old bolt and bolt.
We need more.
Attack. Normal. Ooh, good. That's a 24 to hit.
24 hits, roll damage.
Normal. Double eights. Yes, double eights.
No
Okay.
shit.
So that means I get to choose what damage type it is, and I'm gonna choose fire because that seemed to work good. But also, it jumps from that one to this one.
Oh
So,
my god.
I'm gonna
I need to
roll.
re-roll the damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll again to hit. So that
You
was.
keep jumping, technically.
Yeah, it keeps jumping as many times as I roll doubles on the damage. So it's a +7. So I'm just gonna roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Roll.
8, 9,
Hit.
10, 11.
Is that 13 to hit?
13. One
Oh
sec.
my god.
Does not hit. As you blast the first one, it
Ah.
leaps over to the second one, and it just kind of like hunkers down. You see it scrape
Hey.
off the hardened carapace.
Okay, well, I'm also going to do my aberrant ash bond, so I'm gonna roll a d12. So that is a odd number, so a random creature within 30 feet of me takes 3 damage.
I think that's everyone. Are we in 30 feet of you?
No, it's just blade beak, and then your.
No, Vincent's 30 feet from you. If you turn,
I'll do a little thingy.
difficult terrain off.
Oh right, you're on the. I didn't notice. I just see a skull over you.
Here, I
Oh,
can
so
move
me,
this.
Sentry,
There's your 30-foot
blade beak.
radius.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine. So I'll just roll a d4. I'm gonna say 1 is the one I want it to hit. Hey!
There you go.
So this guy takes 3 damage, and I
3
believe-
damage?
I have no idea what type of damage that is. Let me just. I'll look that up, but that's my turn.
This at the moment irrelevant, but please do look it up. And as the creature is blasted, and this one over here is blasted, and the chaotic energy just infuses the entire area, you finish your turn as the energy wafts out from you in a 30-foot radius, choosing its victims. And at the end of your turn, the creatures get to act. These 3 here, this one moves up 1 and immediately skitters through the hole in the roof that was made by Matilda's fall. The second one follows suit, making its way, fleeing this combat into the second floor. This one that is nearly dead actually will do the same thing. So all 3 of these escape onto the first floor of the house in an attempt to flee both the light and the blasting. The others at the top skitter over here. This one drops down onto you, Matilda.
Ooh!
This one over here, can it reach
New
Vincent?
pet.
It can. What did you say?
Off to Matilda. I'm like, new pet.
No,
And then
it
fell
thinks
on
that of
Vincent.
me.
I'm
It wants to burrow in my body. Some alien shit.
This one moves over here. It can make its way up to you, Vincent.
like,
This one is going to skitter. Ooh. Where can you reach? 30 feet, 30 feet, 30 feet. It's actually going to just land here, and it just falls down onto the ground itself and looks in towards everyone. It's going to take a bite at the horse. But they mindlessly begin to move. This one goes over here and lands upon you, Jojo. As I position these so I can select every. You can feel
No thanks.
you can feel their bodies begin to dig in as they move, landing upon you. They just begin to aggressively tear, and as they do so, you see some of their like forelegs digging into your bodies, pulling back and just pulling that blood in from these like just into its mouth as it begins to attempt to drink of you. But not only that, as they bite you, they go for all of your guys' exposed metal. What do you guys currently have on you?
Oh. I have a warhammer.
You are wearing the metal, yes? Make a dexterity saving throw, please. Actually, Matilda, Jojo, Vincent, and Sentry doesn't have any metal on. So you three make a dexterity saving throw, please and thank you.
Okay. I need to know what like is it like every piece of metal or like iron, silver, like what kind of metals quantified?
Non-magical metal.
Non-magical. That's influential.
I have Jaeger's special hand axe.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm a little worried because what if they fuck up Matilda's glasses or they rip out her earring?
Oh shit!
Yeah, like
Didn't even think about the earring.
Yeah. Or like, so Matilda's just got like no earlobes.
Got a lot of piercings over here.
Yeah, and then also I have like my brooch here, and I have like probably like a dagger or something. Matilda doesn't have like a ton of metal, but like enough.
Paige, what did you
probably,
ask
like,
us to roll? Sorry to interrupt.
Dexterity saving throw.
like
Okay.
disadvantage? Normal? What?
Just
It's a
straight.
saving throw. You wouldn't have disadvantage unless you had disadvantage for some reason.
Oh, well.
Exhaustion.
Oh
doesn't
my
give you that.
goodness, we all did that.
All of these hit except for Jojo. Does anybody have any reactions they'd like to use?
Wait, JoJo's not hit it. I rolled the same thing as her.
This is not the dex save. This is just the
Oh.
attack.
Oh, Vincent would probably shield.
Okay, as you bring your arcane shield up, let me just check. It's +5 to your AC. It lands, like falls down upon you, and as it does so, you bring up your shield and you just kind of like eject it, throwing it off so it does not actually manage to land where it wanted. It lands off to the side, about 5 feet away from you. And Killian, anything? Oh, Killian's not within this. Perfect. As the vicious hits become just one after the next, tearing into your guys' bodies and absorbing the blood upon you, they go in and begin to nibble at your like clothing and just scouring across your entire form for any kind of metal. Matilda, you take 6 points of piercing damage. Sentry takes 4. Vincent, you take none. And Jojo, you manage to just like fucking yeet the thing off of you as it falls down.
Yes!
And from that, your guys' saves, circling back to the top.
How
Jojo,
much?
you did not succeed. Vincent, you did not succeed. And Matilda, I need a dexterity save. You did not succeed. So here's what's going to happen. They begin to eat. Jojo, let's see. What do you got, my friend?
I think that most of her piercings are wood or bone, but her eyebrow piercings are for sure metal. She has clockwork amulet. That's magic.
That's magical though.
Jaeger's lucky hand axe. She has a medal of muscle. That's magical. Never mind.
You don't wear armor. As it
I'm a
lands
warhammer.
on you, I'm going to roll a d2 to determine whether or not it eats Mord's Warhammer, Jaeger's Lucky Hand Axe, the Shark Tooth Sword. 1d3.
That one isn't metal.
Oh, it is Shark Tooth.
Yeah.
You do not say. You do not say. That
What
is a
about
2.
what about
That
the
is Mord's
Legendium
Warhammer.
sword?
It reaches down and implants its hands in and just begins to chomp. And as its teeth dig in, you see rust immediately begin to spread out through the metal. It takes a permanent -1 to
Aw.
damage rolls.
What does?
Mord's
Warhammer.
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 As it begins to chomp into you, Matilda. This one focuses in on you. Let me go ahead and see
I
what you got.
don't have a reaction, but Matilda will tilt it and like not contest it if it wants her earring or her brooch. She does not want them to take her glasses.
You think? You actually have quite a few things in your bag that would be considered metal. But let me go ahead and check this. I'm going to roll here.
Most of Vincent's stuff is magical, luckily.
The light hammer that sits at your waist, the creature kind of skitters around to the bottom of you, takes a chomp, and the light hammer begins to corrode. It takes a permanent -1. And Vincent. Yeah, you are just emblazoned in metal. You are looking like a smorgasbord to these people, all that gold on you.
Yeah, but you know, if it goes after his jewelry, that's one thing. But I don't have that every piece of jewelry written in my
That's fine.
equipment, so that's fine. We can just roleplay that. If you want actual things on him that he has in his inventory, his signet ring, he has.
You have a rapier?
Yeah, his rapier. His rapier's magical. His dagger is not. So his dagger is. I don't think his short bow has metal on it.
Short bows are dominantly wood. They might have metal facets, but these things are. That's something it would scrounge for after the fact. I have rolled. The creature
Just the
comes
dagger?
in. The creature comes in and immediately eats 10 of your arrows, completely corroding them to the point where they are destroyed.
Okay.
And so you lose 10 arrows in that exchange, and you guys have taken the damage. I apologize for the length of this action for these creatures, but it is now done. Paka has not gone in initiative 20 like he should have done. Is there anything you guys wish for Paka to do?
Well, now that we know that he eats metal, Paka, make sure these things don't touch you.
I'm made of metal.
Baka, take this! And she throws in the hand axe.
Start tossing metal things for him to catch and put into his bag.
I was wondering if we could tell Paka to throw out a small handful of copper on the floor so they
Oh,
could
that
go
might be
after
good.
that.
I think Paka goes do 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 do. I did not mean for that tune. Runs over towards you, Jojo, and grabs the axe that you were passing to him. As he just kind of
Yeah.
goes
Oh, yeah,
over
the
here.
hand axe.
He just places it on the ground nicely.
No!
What? I misread the situation.
He will use his item interaction to pick it up. No, he's holding
Oh, put it in the bag!
it. He puts it in the bag.
Good job.
And now he's standing here just being like,
Yes. They praise
Paka, get
me.
away from them.
Oh, okay.
and he turns to do that.
He says, but I have to stay close to you.
Not in this instant.
Okay.
Selene looks on towards this and just says, okay.
You're like made of metal, Dia, so you might want to deal with this on me. before
Good
it comes
idea.
to you.
Takes the mace in her hand and just goes to
And
bash.
Sid just like literally leads up for her to take a swing. Like he's not phased by this.
Most excellent. The system that we have in place for attacking creatures that are on someone is you can attack with disadvantage, and if you miss, you do not hit the creature it is on. Selene does not have that forethought, and you seem pretty cool with it. So she's going to attack normally. If she misses, she hits you.
That's great.
So, with that in mind, she reaches a hand back and just, boom, slams down.
He has a shield up too.
That's true. So your AC is pretty bonk right now. Impacting into the carapace of this creature, she just pulls that mace back, and you see the body of it carry through with the mace, legs twitching. She just throws it to the side, and it scatters against the ground.
Just like
one
wipes a
shot.
bit of the fluid off of his face. Good job, Dia.
Then she's going to use the rest of her movement to try and get over to Matilda's. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. She could have attacked you from where she was. Why am I so dumb? At this point, can you do
Fine.
anything else, my friend?
There's two of them on me. So.
Bonus acciones. Ah, she reaches a hand out, snaps her fingers, and utters Celeste. And Matilda, you heal wounds begin to close upon you. You recover 5 hit points.
Oh.
Was this her last healing spell?
It was not,
Interesting.
Huh.
as far as you know. But as she leans forward and she casts her bonus action, Matilda, you are up.
Okie dokie. Fearing for my glasses, because now I know that it's like attacking metal, and Matilda's like, I'm fucked if these are gone. I'm panicking, a little bit scared, because I get a, Edie Beatty, get off me! No!
He has
Just normal.
advantage.
Oh, well, I'll roll again. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hold on. Roll.
First attack comes in. In this
Yeah.
instance, go ahead and roll again, and then we'll do damage for both.
Oh no, because this is disadvantage, because I fucked up. I didn't roll, I just rolled normal, so this is the first hit. So 14.
That's fine.
So 14 would be the lower of the two, I believe.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. And
10. Jeez. You blast the creature with your first blast, and go ahead and roll the attack on the second. It is still alive, just barely. Once again, you just blast the left half of it off.
21.
21 to hit. No point. The creature is just Boom! Two halves, two different directions, splatters and paints the wall.
Matilda like she like adjusts her glasses and the thing's off for now. Ooh. Alright. I will move here beside Selne. I will stand beside Paka, sorry. Does it get an attack of opportunity on me?
It will take that for sure.
Okay.
It is also going to try and chomp on some more of that delicious metal.
Ow! My glasses.
Well, it's at your feet now, but
Without my glasses.
I know.
Do you have a reaction this does hit you?
I don't think so.
Other than to say ow? I don't think so. Ow!
Okay, you use your reaction to really sell it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
As the attack comes in, you take a grand total of 5 points of piercing damage as it like bites into your side and begins to hook in. The other item that you had on you that it was eyeing. It's actually going to keep going for... Do you have arrows? Arrows actually seemed pretty delicious earlier.
I have a dagger.
It's going to keep going for your light hammer. It chomps down on your light hammer again. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Hold on, so I took 5 damage. Hold on, I'm just trying to keep... Okay, so that's that, and then that's this. Okay, and now I am going to roll a dex save. Yes?
Please and thank you.
Hmm.
15, you manage to avoid it. Goes for your light hammer at your waist, and you just dodge out of the way, skirting around Selene and landing next to Paka. So he's like,
You did a really good job too.
Oh, thanks, Paka.
You're welcome.
he stands there and looks over, and he's like,
This is good. They're pretty much gone. This is fine.
and at the beginning of the turn order, actually, do you have any bonus actions, Matilda?
None that I want to do right now.
Gotcha. Paka has a turn. Does anyone wish for him to do anything?
Just
The copper coin thing idea was a good one.
So you want him to throw copper coins where?
I'm gonna put it like here.
Maybe like a couple. Nothing crazy.
He reaches into his bag. He has gold. Let me see if
He
he has
doesn't
any
have any
copper.
copper?
No, yes, he has. He had a bunch of gold. Now he has less gold. But he reaches into his bag and just grabs as many coins as he can, and then he turns and tosses them. So a handful of coins dissipates from Paka's inventory as he throws it basically in a small square about here. It scatters on the ground over there. And I am going to roll for Paka. Persuasion.
Paka.
As Paka throws the coins, he's just like, these are the best coins I have! And he throws them. The creatures, you see the antenna lift and turn their attention towards the ground over there. As they continue their onslaught, both of them kind of turn their attention towards the small pile of dinner on the ground. I'm going to say this. Both of them, from this move, are distracted. And now, Vincent, you're up.
Okay. Vincent like wiped away a little bit of stuff. He sees like some of the weird bug juice on his hands, so he reaches in and pulls out like a handkerchief and starts wiping his hands off. And as an action, he's commanded Carson to cast prestidigitation on him to clean off his face and his clothing and stuff. And he'll simply just look down at this and then look over to Sentry. You deal with this.
Carson kind of just waves his hands over top as the muck just fizzles off of you, and Sentry turns its attention towards the beast.
To you guys, the stuff on his face just like dissipates for no reason. Yeah, that's all he's gonna do. So end his turn, and then Sentry will go. And it's going to. So this is a bit odd. Sentry doesn't have an ability other than to hurl flame, but like I feel like it could smash something with its hooves. Is it not allowed to do that?
I believe summons can perform just actions as normal. So this creature could make a improvised weapon attack using its natural weapons.
What would that do? Like D6
It'd be
or D4?
1+ strength because it's just an improvised attack, but you have proficiency with it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. I guess I'll do that. 15 to hit.
15. Rearing back, slamming down into the creature. That hits. Roll damage.
Oh, I don't even need to roll anything.
Oh yeah, it's 1 plus strength. The creature takes 4 damage. Stomping down on it, the carapace is hard, like stone. But as it breaks down, or maybe like metal, breaks down and then pulls back as it prepares for a second stomp, the creature is now bloody.
Cool. Yeah, that's its turn. It's gonna continue to stomp.
And Killian, you were up.
Right. So one is on Jojo, and one is getting stomped on the ground by Sentry, right?
That is correct.
Killian will rush over to here. And take aim at the one on Jojo. And I have normal if I want to risk shooting Jojo, or disadvantage if I don't, right?
That is correct.
I'll go normal.
Do it!
Shoot me!
I can take it.
19. You take aim. You blast. No need. The creature is just, as it's staring at the gold, you stomp through it. It turns its antenna towards you, and you're just like, thanks for giving me a shot. Blast through the head. Spaints the wall.
Alright, cool. I will swivel around and take a shot at the other one.
This one's
Yeah,
not conscious and it's on the floor.
It's not prone, is it?
Yep.
Blam.
Nice.
Lambo's right. Roll damage.
Another 2.
6.
Another 2 hits the creature. As just barely living.
I'll just shout at Bladebeak, who will run over to, I guess, here is the best unoccupied spot. And give it a 1-2.
Rend, my friend. I always wondered what the 3 was. You always hear about the 1, 2, but 7?
No, that's
to
sorry.
hit?
7 plus numbers.
7 plus proficiency plus
Strength?
Plus its strengths. That'd be plus 5.
7,
oh no, plus
13.
Plus 6 because it's got the mithril plating.
Beautiful. 14. You just barely hit. And as you do, Bladebeak carves down the center of the body and just leaves it in 2 pieces. You see small coins begin to like clatter along the ground and just flecked with rust, heinously corroded. And as the creatures begin to flitter away, those few that had escaped into the rafters above you onto the first floor, long gone. But as the combat comes to a close and the creatures have seemingly dissipated into the house, you hear a faint skittering as they get out of your guys' anywhere near you. They want nothing to do with you. And you find yourselves now within the basement.
It's just got like a handkerchief in his hand and he's wiping this guts off of it. So, what's the plan?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just didn't want to make friends with them.
No, I didn't mean to fall through the floor. I'm sorry.
No one tries to fall through a floor.
I know Jojo separated. And I
You just
didn't.
gotta learn from
I
your
was
mistakes.
giving you shit, Matilda.
Yes,
I
she
didn't
was
mean it.
joking. I mean, you knew that, right? You knew she was joking, right?
No, I didn't.
Really? That's what you should be apologizing for. She walks away.
Jojo wants to kneel down by the Tiamat body, noticing that they didn't go after any magical metal items. She's gonna check this guy for metal items because she'll know that they're magical.
Matilda like side eyes Desaulniers. It's like, if you know jokes so much, you shouldn't have gotten married. You would have known it was a joke.
That's a good one. She just kind of sits down and look on her face. She's fucking exhausted. And as you move over, go ahead and roll investigation.
Investigation. flump, boop, appears on my shoulder again. And it takes out a spectacle.
I think its hand kind of like just morphs into a circle and it puts it in front of its eye.
Yeah.
Insta
I
look
like
down.
You
that.
always end up with weird eye shit with your characters. Last time it was like diamond eyes. This time it's like a flump eye.
Oh,
Like,
you don't
come
even
on.
know about Roush. Roush can see infrared now for some
Oh
reason.
my god.
As you lean down and you begin to investigate the body of the Tiamat adventurer, here's a few things that you kind of take note of it. The ash bond still looks completely normal. You have this creature is beyond the concept of dead. They are hardly a creature at this point. They are more of a suit. But as you are looking at them, the ash bond is still there, emblazoned exactly as it was. It is a bright and vivid red, the mark of the champion. And as they lay, you kind of investigate them. They don't have any magic items on them. They do have a note, and as you pop it open in Thieves' Cant, Selenay just kind of like, give me, takes it, begins to read it, and she's just like, it just says, fuck off, no. Hands it back to you. It's just, they don't translate exactly like that, but it's basically just an aggressive stop asking for things.
Vincent looks over at the lantern that Jojo's still holding on, or Killian's still
Killian.
holding. What color is it?
Still yellow.
Do you guys want to rest a bit?
Yeah.
Selen's not looking very well, so be courteous. This is her first foray into the dungeon in a while, so.
I'll start setting up an alarm down here. She takes out
When-
some wire.
I want to start like, not to be crass, but to strip the corpse and see if there's any other tattoos on them that are more defining. You know how sometimes you have titles and stuff, like it's cool, you're from Tiamat, thanks, but like what else do you got?
Here's what I'll say. As you guys investigate this individual, both with your 25 as well, Jojo, let me just go ahead and double check something. The two of you kind of can share Jojo's critical success here. And as you both begin to look, you note that they do have quite a few different marks, all of which kind of down the vein of as far as you can tell, like criminal accomplishments. Selenay begins to join in with you, and I will roll for her as well.
Interesting. So you guys are implying that after we die, people can just read our ash bonds with no problem?
As you look at the ash bond, it does not seem like you can't read this person's stats. But as they're examining the body, they do see that there are tattoos that are just not magically induced that have been placed on this person. But Selenay kind of begins to brush over them with you guys, and she's like, so this person's killed at least a dozen people. These are marks of accomplishment. And she points towards several kind of like slashes down the side of the forearm. Says, right here, this shows that they've been in jail 3 times. And I suppose have gotten out because, I mean, this is a kind of a prison, I suppose. But this, and points down towards a single mark on the person's, like the back of their neck. This denotes that they were once enslaved in Asaria, Far Eastern continent. It's this person may have been trafficked and brought here, or they may have come here of their own accord and just kind of been not exactly on the side of the law.
Wasn't Shiana like involved with the bringing of people over from Asaria?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, right.
It's more personal information. Could be related, could not be. But I'm more interested in learning about is, how do you know this, dear? Vincent will eye her up and down. Can you roll insight?
Go ahead and roll insight. The first thing that you take note just with your base insight is that these questions make her incredibly uncomfortable. And not only that, there seems to be some kind of like manifestation of physical pain. When you ask her this, an immediate recollection makes her just seem uncomfortable, cold sweats. Goodness.
29. Not
She seems to be able to recall these things from her
20.
experience.
I'm rolling at a disadvantage.
Thank you.
Alas.
Never mind then. Fuck you.
They- When you roll 2 natural 20s,
Classic
fuck you.
Vincent.
Fuck you, DM is
Look at
100% allowed.
Nat 20s in the far right now.
Yeah, ooh, nice little fill in there. As you begin to look over her, She has this information from experience. But not only from that experience, it seems to come natural to her. There was not discomfort, but as soon as you try and ask her about her past and how she may have accrued this knowledge, there is visible pain. As she just kind of like, it's something I fuck off. And she immediately deflectively tries to push the question away.
Can Vincent grab one of the coins on the ground that Paka threw there? Is there any? None of them are copper, right? You said they were all gold looking.
He grabbed his sack of gold coins and threw them. But Paka's like, stop! And he runs over and he picks up each coin individually, and then he comes up towards you and he's like, here you go.
No, it's okay, dear. Vincent wanted to do something while he incited is basically what I'm trying to get at, so I'll explain. But if none of those are copper, then could he reach into his bag and pull out one of his gold coins that are disguised as copper coins disguised as gold coins? And he's going to subtly cast Detect Thoughts when she was straining her face there.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. So, if you dig deeper, remember, they will know one way or the other.
I know, he's getting her surface thoughts right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Selene's immediate surface thoughts are jumbled. It seems like there's kind of, it's not even one train of thought. There's something incredibly self-deprecative, and she's just, yeah, you fucking piece of shit. Yeah, why do you know these things, huh? And it's just like, shut up, just leave me alone. This is not happening today. And that's when she basically looked towards you and said, fuck off.
Does it feel like there's actually maybe two people going on, similar to maybe like Carson and himself, or does it feel like she's been through so much trauma, her brain is just fractured right now?
This doesn't seem particularly natural. There's like these voices almost overlapped for a brief moment. Like they're just like rapid firing back and forth. There is definitely some deep-seated something there, because there is a natural like traumatic response. However, whatever is doing this seems to be ensuring it remains as such.
Okay. Vincent will lift the he's not going to pry because he doesn't want her to get angry. Then he'll stop, like, end the Detect Thoughts. And then
yeah, there was a job we did a while back. There's a family, Joaquin and no, it was Umberly and Salash Deep were ferrying in people from Asaria for like cheap manual labor or something.
yes, that probably happens from time to time within the city.
So this is
No.
probably one of them.
It could be, for sure. Oh, does he have anything useful on him, or?
Not really.
No, definitely not. Matilda, you had your hand raised?
I do have my hand raised. Matilda noticed that she was like kind of breaking out into a cold sweat and kind of was like showing the symptoms of like PTSD. So, and also like not being able to associate with memories. One, Matilda understands a lot of thing with like mental health with like voices in your head because she probably had to go to therapy at some point as someone and then she also is medically trained. Even though she deals with dead bodies, I think she would understand, like, know the symptoms of like that kind of thing. So I wanted to see if Matilda would be able to know that.
I like to think that Matilda probably trained herself in this to just be like, do I have this? Let me check. As you go ahead and roll medicine.
Okay. Yeah, which is actually very funny because I do that a lot too. Like, do I have this? No. Okay.
You'll be at disadvantage, by the way.
I'm gonna guide myself. Can I guide myself?
In this instance, it's kind of in response, so I'd say no.
Yeah, no.
Be a little weird if you were
that's
just
why-
like,
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
say.
Yeah.
Looking at, you are basically reeling through your medical knowledge in your head, but it's all just kind of a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of focus on resting more so than you were paying attention to this exchange.
Vincent will do a quick whistle and tell Sentry to be on watch.
I feel like
Sentry
there's
has-
a story there.
Sorry about that.
No, but
I was just going to say Sentry Stairs Up has positioned itself in a way that is now watching up the stairs, over at the hole in the roof, and is keeping an eye on Vincent. Selene kind of backs over to the edge. As Jojo, you finish drawing out your line, your perimeter, and you place it down. You guys find yourselves within the basement. Up until this point, the setting sun has been letting just the faintest bit of light kind of paint the top of the hole in the second floor, bursting through the seams of the roof. But as you see that light turn to a vivid orange and then disappear over the horizon, the sun has set. And as this happens, you guys begin to feel shaking in the ground underneath you.
Yeah, I had a bad feeling about this.
Being in the basement, you can feel kind of the nature of the hordes on the outside of this farmhouse that have begun to move in the darkness as the sun begins to set. You find yourselves in the basement.
Can we assume we closed the doors behind us as we went?
What I was going to say is none of you closed the doors on the second floor.
Yeah,
Everybody roll a group intelligence check to see whether or not you have. So there's a pretty good chance one of you will succeed this.
Is this
is a check, so disadvantage.
Yes, it is.
Another natty.
Another
Double
nat
up again. Come on, you can do it.
Y'all are pretty fucking tired so far.
Nope, it's a 5.
Paka and Selene get a
Can
roll.
I use an inspiration to negate the disadvantage?
Yes, you may.
Would that mean that I get the natty 20?
You actually re-roll
wait.
the entire roll with disadvantage.
Wait, let's just see, does JoJo succeed? Can you not?
It's a group, right?
inspiration has to be done afterwards.
It's a group intelligence check. But so Jojo only rolled once, so go ahead and roll again for disadvantage.
I don't have disadvantage.
Jojo doesn't.
Oh, you don't. That's right. 17. Okay. And then, okay. In this instance, then Jojo, you, as the people came into the house, you just turned back and you close. Everyone was just like, "Oh, let's just get in here," and you're just like, "God, these people."
Wow.
Born in a barn.
Yeah, exactly.
On the second floor, there's a barricade on the front door from the inside, so you can close that one. The doorway immediately after that one could not close. You just placed it in a position that would be considered closed. And you guys find yourselves now in the basement with this alarm surrounding you.
And I was so close to saying that I closed the door and then put a chair underneath, but I couldn't find a normal place to jump in on that earlier, so I just didn't say it. So
Gotta interrupt in the future.
Raise your
Looking
hand.
around, does it look like these walls? Let's say does it feel like the horde is coming from underground, or just that there's so much upstairs that it's shaking the ground?
Based on how much dirt is falling out from the walls, it feels like whatever creatures these were underground at the time and are making their way to the surface now.
What color is the
Okay.
light?
Yeah, but we're in a concrete room, so hopefully that's better. Do we have anything to block that area there? Anything upstairs you can think of? Something preferably made out of stone?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
What color is the lantern light now?
The lantern light is still a gold. Yellow, sorry. The only light within this room now, as the dim light that was previously being brought in from the setting sun is now gone, is the light emitting from Matilda.
Maybe we should... It'll give our position away, but if it keeps them back, they seem to not like light. We should
Assuming
put
it's the
them up.
same creatures.
It seems so. It's
Mm.
just a lot more of them.
Did you say that one of these walls looked newer than the rest?
I gave that information to Matilda, but I don't know if she brought it up.
I was looking around and everything looks really spooky except that wall. That wall looks new.
She points
Which
to the
one?
west, the wall right in front of right here.
Mm.
A little hesitant to have you knock it down right now to see if there's anything there. These things are coming up from underground, so...
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we need an escape route. Maybe this has more stones like the fireplace did. I'm just gonna send Gambit over to just sort of against all the stones again, just to see if they're loose.
Nothing loose enough that a rat would be able to force anything away.
Okay.
As it reaches the wall, definitely looks newer, and it Gambit begins to just crawl up and around the wall. It's very cute, but also mildly gross, depending on whether or not you like flumps. And it makes its way back down to the ground and approaches you and goes.
Oh, okay.
Could I send Bladebeak to do the same thing?
Bladebeak. Go ahead and roll. What are you attempting to do here? Athletics or an attack?
No, not less of a like smashy smash, and more of just like a kind of like walk up and down the walls and like kind of like using the head to like kind of scan as high up and as low down as Bladebeak can, just to like see if there's any like creases or anything that we've missed.
Do you?
Perception?
I'm totally cool with that. Do you have Mason's tools proficiency?
I do not. That's one of the only ones I don't have, I believe.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll
check
perception.
Okay. Stickers, smiths, leatherworkers, alchemists. Yeah, no, I do not have Mason.
Could I give like Beak the help action?
You may.
Nice. Advantage. Bloop.
Nice.
Pretty good.
21. Bladebeak reaches, just eyes, begins to look, finds structural integrity at various different points. As it brings its head up, opens like a small sensor on the side of its face and listens in and hears faint whistling of wind from the other side, but also hears a skittering sound. But not a skittering sound like the bugs that you had heard previously. It sounds like a shuffling, more so. Just like this lumbering movement.
I don't like that. And it's coming from the other side of the new wall, right?
In just down here, from what
Oh,
Bladebeak can
okay.
tell. However, Bladebeak discerns to you guys that this is in fact a fake wall. It has been erected recently.
Okay.
Maybe we should use this to our advantage. Stay quiet and rest for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
To like going. But,
I can give you guys the knowledge that from how barricaded this house is right now, if creatures wanted to attempt to get in here, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to get in. You had seen previously that there was an adventurer on the second floor who maybe tried his best to barricade himself in and was eaten from the inside out. So right now where you guys stand is pretty precarious.
Not a good place to rest, huh?
You wanted to say something, Candace. What were you saying?
I was wondering if I could do 2 alarm spells at once, but I'm thinking now that maybe we shouldn't try and rest here.
yeah.
Do we want to try to deal with whatever is shambling in here to break one of these walls down? Because that at least gives us like a more defensible position.
Wouldn't
in the
this
middle of
one
a
be the
room?
one to be the
No.
takedown?
The newer one was this wall down here.
Okay.
Where was the wind whistling from?
Same spot, straight through this section of wall.
Right here. Okay.
Okay.
I think we might need to break down this wall, fight the shambling thing, and escape through the tunnel into the underground dungeon. Although, I'm having a hard time finding a place to rest.
I think that's, par for the course when it comes to the dungeon. We need to find some sort of sanctuary.
Yeah.
Do you know there is one on this part of the floor? Selling or not?
There's a tree at the base of a river of blood.
Interesting. We'll keep that in mind. But don't see any trees underground right now. So, why don't the ones that want to stand in the back and pew pew stand at the back? Everyone else take positions. We can at least get a little bit of an advantage against whatever's behind that.
I imagine the burning plains is going to be very uncomfortable to rest in.
Bladebeak approaches the wall. All right, go ahead and athletics or an attack roll, your choice.
Okay. Everyone essentially get into position because this is what it's going to trigger if we get into combat.
I am where I would like to be for this encounter, at least at present.
Can Vincent hold an action? Can't do that outside of combat.
You can basically just you can't hold an action outside of combat, but if you just prepare for whatever's happening and you just blast them, you may actually get the surprise condition on the enemy if they didn't know the threat was about to unleash upon them. But what are you planning on doing?
I was just going to do an attack, but we can just wait if Killian has something specific.
Gotcha. Killian, as Bladebeak approaches and you stand behind, Jojo approaches alongside Bladebeak. What do you guys do?
Given the knowledge of Bladebeak's abilities, I know that Bladebeak is strong enough to do things that Killian cannot. But do I think that its force beak would be a better means to open up a stone wall than just using strength?
Unless Bladebeak's attack specifically states that it can damage objects. Oh, detect. It's not a spell. Go ahead and check this.
It's just an attack.
It is force damage. Objects are not immune to force damage. I will say that Bladebeak can absolutely use this attack against the wall.
Okay.
Light on or off?
You cannot turn light off.
She can. She can put it out. It says it in the spell.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, if you put it out, you won't be able to see. So
Yes,
even
but
if it gives away our position, I'm fine with this.
I'm gone.
Plus, most things haven't liked the light.
I hold an itty bitty.
Then Bladebeak attacks.
Leaning back, planting itself, mouth opens, force blade lifts, carves down the side of the wall, half crumbles in. At this point, as you kind of carve through, you can hear structural accuracy of the area kind of just like weakening, and the wall itself begins to crumble. The sounds outside lift to a call. Something large, something uncomfortable, as far as you can tell. And you hear the sound of dirt. The sound of thousands and thousands of feet tearing through the ground in towards your location. The ground itself begins to shudder slightly from the weight of the creatures escaping it, but also from above you. And as Bladebeak brings in for the second attack, tearing down in an X, the wall crumbles down from the damage it's capable of doing, and you hear those footsteps begin to more cautiously approach. As this happens, the doorway before you crumbles away, and you see beyond it another doorway. Sat with a lock covered in ash and soot, as though from a fireplace.
Ah.
Oh, the key.
This is where I shine.
Paco runs forward, plants the key in the lock, turns it, and beyond, as Paca pulls the door open happily, you see a disgusting creature, a form torn down the center with mouth just agape, arms of flesh that seems to just be rotted beyond nothing, massive eyeballs, and blue jeans underneath it. As you look towards, you see two halves of a single ash bond of a multi-headed dragon. As it rears a hand back and goes to attack, that is where we will pick up next time.
Oh, man.
What?
Thank you all for watching. And until next time, at the Dragonleaf.
Ew!
Bye, everybody.
What?
See ya.
Eh.